solve security concerns. Just getting some details from Texas about a hostage rescue in Houston. Prosecutors now say the crisis began days ago when 3 migrants were kidnapped from one vehicle and forced into another vehicle. The original driver notifying sheriff's officials, who later contacted the FBI. All 3 migrants were rescued early today during a shooting involving FBI agents that left one person dead. No other details yet. A pileup on an icy highway that killed 6 people 2 years ago is being blamed, at least in part, on the company responsible for maintaining that interstate. The NTSB says the company failed to address deteriorating road conditions on the stretch west of Fort Worth, where 130 vehicles crashed. Wall Street regains its footing. The Dow up 73 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
The Guam Visitors Bureau presents the return of Koku Weekend, April 15 and 16 at the Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park in Tumon. Kids ages 4 to 12 can participate in Koku Weekend by registering for the Guam Koku Kids Fun Run happening on Saturday, April 15. Calling all runners for the Guam Koku Road Race 10K Walk Run event on Sunday, April 16th. Register online today at visitguam.com/Koku or contact GVB at 646-5278 for more details. Koku Weekend is a GVB signature event.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup,
including working with SBA or GITA.
Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
A woman found guilty for her role in the Capitol riot is sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Last fall, 23-year-old Riley June Williams was convicted of interfering with law enforcement officers during a civil disorder and resisting or impeding officers, as well as 4 misdemeanors. The jury deadlocked on whether Williams obstructed an official proceeding or helped steal then Speaker Nancy Pelosi's laptop. Federal prosecutors said she was heard on video telling other rioters to take the laptop. They also said she physically pushed against officers and threw water bottles at them, calling them traitors. The judge called her actions utterly reprehensible during sentencing. Williams told the judge she is now embarrassed watching videos of her behavior, admitting she'd been addicted to the internet.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. President Biden is heading to Canada, his first trip there as president, scheduled to meet with the Prime Minister and address Canada's Parliament, while highlighting our shared air defense system, NORAD. When Britain's King Charles visits France next week, he may be greeted by protesters as French unions call for more demonstrations over pension reform. There have been mass protests after President Macron's move to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64 without approval from Parliament.
According to one of France's largest unions, as many as 800,000 people joined the protests in Paris. Some of the rioters turning violent, smashing windows, destroying outdoor furniture, throwing fireworks or other projectiles into the air filled with smoke. Police are using shields and batons to control the crowds. Strikes have also closed schools, shut down trains, grounded flights, and demonstrators have even blocked road access to airports.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Today, the Eiffel Tower and Versailles Palace were also closed because of the strikes. Recapping stocks, they finish higher, but after some pretty big fluctuations. At one point, the Dow was up more than 300, down more than 100. It finishes up 75 points. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Buenos Zenhafide. Thank you for coming to today's annual meeting. As you all know, our islands had a very successful year. And I'd love to hear about all of the progress we've made. Who wants to go first?
Me, please.
Why don't we start with you?
Yes, thank you. We've helped over 1,200 Guam kids and their families pay for childcare.
And that's over $5.5 million in childcare costs so far. Excellent work, as always.
Thanks, boss. Over 130 after-school and community care programs have received grant funding for programs like swimming.
And cycling.
And soccer. And jiu-jitsu.
Just to name a few. It's my turn, guys. Come on. Anyways, we've also graduated 3 cohorts in our provider certification program at GCC and certified over 75 relative care providers.
That's great news, everyone.
Yes, indeed. It's been a long day. I might need a little break.
Who's ready for recess?
Recess? This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggan from Security Title. And in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi I Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Half a day and good morning, Guam at 6:06 on Friday, March 24. I'm Donna De Jesus with a look at your local news on The Point. 26-year-old Brian K. Matthias, also known as Brian Sorum, was back in court yesterday for slicing a man's face with a machete in a separate case. He had been taken into custody on Wednesday for hitting a roommate in the head with a rebar in front of a Mangilao store last month. In December, police were called to a different store in Mangilao for a reported stabbing. They found a man with blood streaming from his face and his skin hanging. A witness told police Matthias walked toward the victim with his hand extended as if to shake hands. Then Matthias pulled a machete out of his pants and cut the man's face. The man fell to the ground unconscious. Matthias was charged yesterday with assault and aggravated assault with a special allegation of use of a deadly weapon. Meanwhile, Silvis Chenin is set to go to trial next week for stabbing a puppy in October of 2022. He appeared before Superior Court Judge Maria Senzon yesterday morning to answer to charges of animal abuse. A man told police that Chenin stabbed his dog. Chenin admitted to the stabbing, saying he did it because the puppy bit him. Officers did not observe any injuries on Chenin. Senzon explained that his first plea offer was accepted at the end of last year, but due to the change of administration at the AG's office, it made the offer stale. The second offer was rejected by Chenin's counsel. The lack of a plea deal means Chenin's scheduled trial for March 29 will go forward. The parties will meet again on March 27 for another conference. We'll have more news after this.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
The legislature appears close to approving the governor's proposed 22% pay raise for general pay plan employees. Yesterday was the second day of discussions on Bill 24, and senators questioned DOA officials on the specifics of the plan. The increases are the fourth in a series of salary adjustments that began with nurses, then law enforcement and teachers. DOA Director Ed Burns says Guam can afford it because of millions more in rebated income taxes when the U.S. Marines relocate from Okinawa and in earned income tax credits that Washington is now covering instead of GovGuam. But Senator Joanne Brown was among those who was skeptical, saying government expenditures have historically outpaced revenue, even as GovGuam's budget has ballooned. She also notes that employees still are able to get a raise based on performance. Senator Chris Duenas pointed out that GovGuam workers were already earning considerably more than the private sector. They are expected to have another 2 rounds of discussions with finance officials. And with pay raises a hot topic, autonomous agencies are discussing them too. During a CCU meeting yesterday, GPA management said it has been working since 2007 to gradually raise salaries closer to national levels. Assistant General Manager for Administration Tracy Limtiaco says their competitive market position has been eroding, and the agency has seen difficulty in recruiting and retention. She adds that they need to look at the market study and figure out the structural pay adjustments. GPA has yet to reach its target set more than 15 years ago to raise base compensation to within the 50th percentile of the national average. The last adjustment came in 2018 when it moved to the 20th percentile. Adding to their concern is that about 50% of its workforce is retirement eligible. And those are your top stories right here on The Point. Now here's Ray with your weather.
You know, there's got to be a way to be able to do this without spending all this additional money. I mean, I get it. You know, you want to hire the best people. You want to retain them for as long as you possibly can. But you know, everything is going to come back down to the taxpayers and the ratepayers. I'm just wondering, I'm just, out loud, have you guys tried like Casual Friday? Have you done a thing like a casual Friday? Because that brings it. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know. It's like dressed down. That was my favorite. That was my favorite day. You know, was when we had PE in school, and you could dress down for it, or had like dress down Friday or something like that.
Best.
Those were the best of times. Those were the best of times. How about this? Like for GPA guys, what you do is you have like a softball thing. We'll do softball. That brings everybody together, right?
Sure does.
Who doesn't love softball?
And
They
beer.
play against the other power company.
Yeah. What?
Oh, crap. Well, all right. So there's a kink in the armor. Chink in the armor. I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying. But, the GTA. Oh, they're not government anymore. Never mind. I was going to say they can softball against the other telecom companies or something like that. All right. Well, it's a work in progress, obviously. In the meantime, we're just trying not to throw money after, just chasing people who aren't going to be leaving anytime soon. 6:11 in the morning. Is it time for the weather? Shall we into that? All right, let's do it. So, weather for Friday. Mostly sunny. Highs near 87 degrees. This looks good enough. I think I'm going to put the weather thing up on the screen so you can see what we're talking about. This is why it's mostly sunny. You see where the pointer is? It's pointing right at Guam, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's going to be great all the way through the day. Highs near 87. With the heat index, it'll be 94. East-northeast winds up to 17 miles an hour. Breezy conditions up to about 22 miles an hour today. Mostly cloudy tonight. Again, mostly sunny tomorrow with highs around 87 degrees. Sun's going to be coming up early, so you might have some of that sun on you if you're going to be doing the McDonald's 5K in the morning. Partly cloudy tomorrow night under isolated showers, and partly sunny on Friday with highs near 87 degrees. Sorry, partly sunny on Sunday with highs near 87 degrees. East winds 11 to 15 miles an hour, 18-mile-an-hour gust or so. 20% chance of rain over the next couple of days. The heat index going to make it feel like it's 94 degrees. We're getting very, very close to sunrises practically at the beginning of the show. 6:23. So we'll see the sun coming up in about 9 to 10 minutes or so. And sunset tonight is going to be, about 9 or 10 minutes from now as well. Seeing if you're paying attention. 6:32 for sunset tonight. There it is. News and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 68 years.
Take Care recently moved to its new location at the Century Plaza in Tamuning. Take Care customer service, administration, claims, membership accounting services, FHP Home Health and Hospice, and FHP Vision Center are all now located at the top floor of the Century Plaza in Tamuning. If you need any assistance, please call customer service at 671-647-3526. Email customer service at takecareasia.com or visit takecareasia.com. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
The new Subway series includes one of the most craveable sandwiches of them all, the Subway Club.
Number 12, the Turkey Cali Club is the best with avocado, turkey, and bacon.
The best should come with bacon, turkey, and ham. That's my number 10, the All-American Club.
Number 11, the Subway Club is a proven classic that comes with ham too, plus turkey and Angus roast beef.
I see. Let's start over. Let's talk cheese in the Subway series.
I'm still gonna win this. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Ray Gibson Show. All right, actually 6:17 is according to the thing on the gizmo I'm watching right now. Remind me later on to change the clocks around here. The reason why I give that is because there was I don't know. I butt dialed the Facebook thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, okay, so I tell you what.
Really, that was you.
That was me. So yesterday afternoon, I get the thing from Jose. Says Cam 1 is getting kind of glitchy, and then he said, well, it's okay. That's about 10 minutes before the show ended. He says, well, and now it's kaput. So I don't know how they ended that up, but afterwards I went in and did a little bit of doctoring on it, and I thought, well, this morning I need to do a little bit more doctoring, and there were a couple other things I wanted to take advantage since we were offline. And apparently, in the process of taking care of one or two of these things while we were offline, I accidentally put us online. And
Beat best.
It's right.
How we do.
As a result, I spent the first 3 minutes of the online experience looking at remarking to somebody who had remarked on the accidental version of the thing that I put up about 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm looking at the thing going, why is it going to weather? Why is it going to the Flipper channel? Why is it the way it should be on me? I don't know what the hell is going on. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I got this anyway. So my head's all kind of turned around here, and it's Monday. No, it's Friday. It's Friday, right?
No,
it's Friday.
Sunday, right?
I get it.
We gotta go to church.
I'm going back to bed. So that's kind of where but I gotta make it clear, because there might be some of you going, is this the real Ray Gibson show? Am I actually watching the real Ray Gibson show on a Friday morning, 93.3 The Point? And if I'm wearing a yellow shirt, then I'm just messing with people now.
No.
It's red. Orange, you glad to see me or something like that? Anyway, lots to get to on the table of contents, some of which Donna's already talked about in news. I'm going to start with the introduction of her. Donna D going to take care of news and headlines for us all morning long, and a judicious use of her time and her resources. She was looking at a story, and between the two of us couldn't figure out how to say the guy's last name, so we're just not doing it.
No, all right, man. There we go.
We're not doing it. It might be the most important story of the day, but if it can't be that important if we don't know how to pronounce your last name.
We'll make no attempts here.
You can't be that big of a deal if you don't have an easy to pronounce name like Cruz or Santos or Leon Guerrero or something like that. Moylan falls right out of the mouth, right?
Canceled him like that.
just like that, bro. It's we might I don't know. It might do one of those things where we sort of glance around it, and instead of giving the guy's name, his title.
Exactly. Just give the title. Never mind his name.
So
then they'll call in and say, my name is, thank you.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, nobody. So anyway, Donna's going to take care of all that. Real Joe gets the phone when you call at 888-8255, 888-TALK.
Yeah, I'll do it, man.
Is it working today?
Surprise.
Did you check it? Because last Friday, it was all kapakai. You know what I mean? Is butt over tea kettle. We were, started the program and then realized I start getting emails from people and messages from internal sources that are saying, hey, man, I'm up in Dededo and my internet doesn't work. Hey, I'm in
panic.
Absolute panic. I think that's the panic going on in the business when they realized that they had a problem with virtually all of their systems and could not communicate with each other. Well, heck, there you go. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're not going to have any of those kinds of infrastructure issues as we make our way forward to a Friday. Fairly important Friday. A lot of stuff going on this weekend. Like I said, McDee's 5K tomorrow. They do that for Crime Stoppers, and I always think that's a big deal. And 5K, 2K, and I know a lot of regular 5K runners that are having a hard time getting back on track after COVID-19 and just being lazy and drinking too much beer and eating way too many cheeseburgers, aka the Ray Gibson story. And if that's the case, just do the 2K. A lot of kids will be disappointed that you beat them, but they're going to have to get used to it. Like a little girl's going to have to get used to getting beat by guys, right?
It happens.
So why not? So a little kid should be disappointed. They got to learn to live with the disappointment of being beaten by open category runners and that are over 18. Just saying, it's one of those things. That's where the world is going, Joe. It's where the world is going.
Man. You got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Anyway, Real Joe, like I said, 888-8255, 888-TALK is going to take care of it. The meme machine is online and working, and Jose sent me a meme here this morning that I absolutely fell in love with. Because it good indicator of what's going on over at the legislature these days. And, it's a kind of a new legislature, Real Joe. Kind of a new legislature, and not everybody, knows kind of the lay of the land yet, and who you can square off against and who you don't square off against. And what we're about to find out is a simple rule that I don't care who you are, you don't square off against Joanne Brown.
She took a percentage of the 2020 and applied it to the 21 to come up with a reasonable number, and that's how we.
I know my
Mr.
time's
Burns
up.
is correct.
So would you say these are reasonable numbers?
Point of order, Madam Chair. Time is up.
Excuse me.
Yes, Senator Brown.
I understand. I'm just wrapping up. I just want to verify, if you don't mind. I don't think we all have to raise our voice and interject and be rude. I just wanted to verify, if you don't mind.
Point of order, Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Guerrero, I just wanted to
Please
verify
close up,
that
Mr.
you
Guerrero.
stand by the information that you provided.
Yes, I do, Senator.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Guerrero. Thank you.
Point of inquiry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Does the time matter, or can we just go over it arbitrarily?
We allow some leeway for colleagues to wrap up, so we've allowed it for others, and we do that as a courtesy. We try to keep the time as best we can. Senator Lujan.
Was that Will? Was that Will, Ray?
That was Will Parkinson.
Nice.
That was Will Parkinson.
Way
Was
to
a
go.
guy asking, point of order. I read the rules. I know what I know the appropriate words to say is. But
It's always the noobs.
Gavin her out. Gavin her out.
Sorry, Senator Joanne Brown. He's new here. Because it's just the way she says, "Excuse me."
Yeah, the
Excuse me.
tone. Wow.
Audacity. What are you doing that there? 621-888-8255, 888-TA. Okay. Got more like I want to thank Jose Martinez for sending that to my thing here this morning. And they're probably going to hear that 2 or 3 or 4 times before the day is over because it's just that good, ladies and gentlemen. That's the kind of thing. This is why we watch the Legislative Channel. This is why we watch all of this stuff. Did we solve any of the problems yesterday? Near as I can tell, I don't think so. Front page of the Guam Daily Post says the 22 pay raises debate turns into a conversation about merit bonuses, or what we referred to back in the day, the last time they did this, as the meritorious bonuses, which we renamed the meritorious bonuses. To which Mary Torres would say, please stop doing that. They're not my bonuses. I have nothing to do with it. Leave me. Please take my name out of your mouth, right? But it was just too funny. We couldn't let it go. Meritorious bonus. 6:22 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Lots and lots to get to. But I want to do shouts. I was thinking about maybe doing the shouts to the people that were on at 10 after 4 this morning. But I'm already confused enough as it is. So we'll just go with the guys that have been with us since about 6.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
623, 625, whatever. 888-8255 is the phone number. That's the most important thing to remember. Now, this guy might not have been the first, but he's the first on the app of record, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to do a shout to Eric Chong.
Way to go, Eric.
Strong like Eric Chong. That's how we say that.
From
Good
the
to have you
South,
online.
Ray.
Gotta be. Rico B is online. I got beautiful Sarita Garin saying, thank goodness it's Friday. Had an opportunity to spend some time with beautiful Sarita Garin and others in the Point Pandemic family.
Oh,
it was
wow.
nice. Yeah, we had a little get-together.
Secret spot?
Yeah, secret spot. Secret spot. Jason at Military Auto Source Guam saying, good morning. Keenan McCausland from the other secret spot up in Washington State. Nice to see you online here. I got Donna D says, in response to somebody's request, prayer, more so.
Somebody's, huh? That was Joe.
That was Joe. Says, dear Lord, please help Donna D. Keep her banter clean today. She means well, but her words are shocking.
Lies.
Come on, man. Bunker's in town. I got, let me see, Rico B., Colin Clark, saying the good morning wishes. Ron Castro, our favorite guy artist, is out there. Zerot Young, say good morning, Ray, Donna, Joe, and Point Familia. I got MT Farron. Orange, you glad it's Friday? Absolutely. So jealous it's not Friday in Oklahoma, says Jennifer Post-Schnitger. Sweetheart,
nice.
we'll send plenty of half-a-day warmth in your
Still in the
direction.
past.
I got John LaRue. Johnny Dueña says, I missed the banter. It's okay, Johnny. We'll recreate certainly the more important parts of the legislative banter at some point this morning. Huffa to, let me see, Greg Bass Knight, Frank Menno, Nate Horn. My bro is watching the program. So is Jerome. Says, finally, Mother Nature is slowing down with its romantic relationship with California. This weekend, it's looking on the bright side. Beautiful sunny weather is expected. Temps in the low 50s. Tonight, temps in the low 40s. Humidity levels around 92 degrees. Good morning, Ray, Donna, Real Joe. You know, here's the thing, Jerome. I appreciate the weather reports, but they're more fun when you tell me where you're going. You know, like you're driving and where you headed. Cucamonga. Because Cucamonga is one of my favorite and funniest sounding words in the whole wide world. Right? Just I sound like some
You're going to
Bugs,
the Dude Ranch.
It was like something Bugs Bunny would say. You know,
Cucamonga.
took a wrong turn at Albuquerque and ended up in Cucamonga. There's science behind that. Bandits there. Jeff Pleadwell from Pirates Cove online. I got let me see, Dave Donki hanging out. So is Opa Apple. There's no picture. Well, you don't have a picture. And the little place where you put a profile picture. There's no. Opa, are you real? Send us a sign, Opa. Brad Wood's on.
Morning, Wood.
Jerry, that's Jerri Mansipit watching the program. Who else is there? Aditha Camarillo, Patrick A. and Martha Toves. Half of Dave Duenas. Good to see you online. Dennis Benzer. And I'm trying to figure out, I can't go to the messages right now on my phone because otherwise I'll lose my placeholder. I want to find out where his Wordle is today. That sounds funny, doesn't it?
Yeah, show us your Wordle, man.
Oh, my God.
Just whip it out.
Rico Blankenflor says, JW4 makes me want to purchase a new Pew Pew. Henry Menglotya's online. Anna Marie watching the program. So is Dan Rosal. Nick Perlowski looking for something to get grouchy about here today. There's actually plenty. There's actually plenty of it.
It's Friday, though.
Yeah. But no frowny face fries. You can be grouchy, but no frowny faces. Anthony Bennett, Lohan Duenas is there. Juanita Machi, Buenas and half a day to, let me see, Dennis Larson. The B-Man is online here today. Bandit's calling for a Donna D jingle. I think she feels, Bandit, that it would be out of place if she did a jingle just for her own self. My bro Joe Dizon is there. Zortz Cabrera, Heather Perez, Alicia Duenas Anderson watching the Gizmo here. What's that? What good Ironwood? Stay golden, pony boys and girls, says Mike Grace Bloss.
What?
I don't know. It's code. It's some kind of
Ironwood?
It's a code that TikTok is about to implode. Today's theme is Save TikTok. I'm kind of watching the back and forth here, and in my mind, it's very, very clear what is going on. All of the other social media in the United States of America is upside down like crazy. They're not getting enough people downloading their software. They're not selling enough ads in their downloaded software, and they're not making enough money on in-app purchases. And then you look at TikTok, and there's a gazillion downloads, and they're making it. Just a frightening amount of money on in-app downloads in just the last couple of years. So you can see where these guys are coming out and saying, okay, man, these guys, you know what, they're offshoring their data, outside the United States of America, which everybody does.
What do you got there?
They're saving, these guys are, they're taking all this data on all their users and they're storing it and they're selling it and wait a second, excuse me, haven't you been doing that for the last 10 years? Yeah, but it's bad when somebody else does it. And wait a second, hold on. And this is the ultimate now. Listen, when you guys wanted us to censor inputs, fact check everything, suppress stories, we did it. You paid us, but we did it. That's the point. And now we want something back. We want you guys in Congress and at the White House to be able to save our bacon against this TikTok outlet. And you know what? I'm a fan of all of them. I waste an equal amount of time on all of them, but I think the one that I spend the most time with is probably TikTok because TikTok gets me. They understand me in a way that that Instagram and Facebook and even so far to a degree Twitter does not just yet. Twitter's got a new thing. It used to be just the people you're following, but now they have a For You where they think based on what you've been following, based on links that you've clicked.
They just feed you.
Yeah, it just feeds you.
Nice.
And they're about 50% of the way there on the hot Asians in bikini algorithm that they should be. Elon should have gotten this earlier.
So they get all the data. They know you enlarge.
They're still working on it. They're still working on it. Yeah. How many of the unsquotes? How many are we unpinching? Yeah. Right. Red Shirt Friday. You know what happened to red shirts in Star Trek? Says Rico B. Lori Hayden Marino. Good to see you online. Huffa Rico and Henry and Dennis Rico Denise Crisostomo. Dee Dee Bird online here this morning. I see Dale Audette. Scott K. Armstrong. Buenos and half a day too. Okay, I think that's about it for right about now. Big crowd because it's Friday. Lots of stuff to get through. Lots of videos to play for you and images up on the screen. The media is falling all over themselves to say, wow, what a great thing it is that Philippine Airlines has flown in what is it, Women's Month?
Oh, yeah.
Best tomorrow, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We're celebrating here.
What's going on here, man?
It is an all-female crew.
Oh, wrong.
Stop it.
That was bad, man.
It is
I'm
an
sorry.
all-female crew from Philippine Airlines that made their way out to Guam. The pilot, co-pilot, navigator, engineer, all of the people in the pointy end of the airplane, women, all of the people, obviously the rest of the crew, pursers and flight attendants, et cetera, are sitting, are all-female crew that came out of Philippine Airlines. I might have the names for you a little bit. I'm trying to see if I recognize one of the flight attendants, because I remember getting on a PAL flight out to Manila once upon a time, and there's this one flight attendant, and she looks over me, and she says, "Guapo." And
here we go.
Yes, she totally did.
Man,
guapo.
30,000 feet, yo.
And I looked right back at her without skipping a beat. Maganda umaga.
Oh wow!
I know the words you're saying, baby. Baby ko. I know what you said because I watched Catherine Bernardo Filipino rom-coms. Just saying. The bottom of the hour. So welcome to Guam. I hope you guys have a good trip and a safe one on the way home. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about.
Yeah, but who worked on the jets, Ray?
I don't know.
Was it a man?
Don't change the light bulb. Crash that plane if there's a lizard in there. 6:31. Don't look at the hubcaps of the on the wheels at that PAL flight. Have you seen that meme? with the tire? Happy National Women's Week, and it's a tire and the hubcap's all scraped up. Oh my God, this is too much fun. I got to be careful. There's a woman in the room at 6:32 in the morning, and I think maybe we ought to jump into news and headlines right now with Donna D'Off. Donna's not laughing.
Oh, because I wasn't listening.
Oh, thank God. There's the Trump. All right.
Roger that.
What's going on, Donna?
A man was seriously injured last night in an auto pedestrian accident in Anigua. GFD spokesperson Nick Garrido says firefighters were called to the scene on Marine Corps Drive near Napa at a little before 8 o'clock. He says the man is about 35 years old and was taken to Naval Hospital. Meanwhile, GWA is warning residents of scammers posing as GWA employees who are going to homes, claiming customers are in arrears and service will be cut off unless they pay them. GWA says it does not accept payments outside of official customer service locations, and customers should demand to see a GWA employee ID card. And GDOE students celebrated World Meteorological Day yesterday with a field trip to the National Weather Service office in Tizen. The students also watched as the governor released a weather balloon ahead of a proclamation signing, and students also learned the important role each weather balloon plays in weather forecasts. And those are your local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
All right, 6:33 on the Ray Gibson Show. I'm sure there's something important I'm supposed to tell you, but frankly, it took me that long to get over my giggles. I got to find that meme. I got to find,
she curbed it.
I got to find that meme. Frankly, when the first time I saw it, it was posted online by a woman. So it can't be that bad. It can't be something that's going to cancel me for being what do they call it? Chauvinist pig, part of the patriarchy. Congratulations. Anyway, 6:33 in the morning. Lots more on the way. Stick around, Brown. Ray Gibson Show continues.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Guam Regional Medical City was awarded Advanced Primary Stroke Center certification from the Joint Commission. What does this mean? It means our neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and a team of the finest neurological doctors to treat stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC, reflecting our commitment to providing safe and quality patient care. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu or to make an appointment, call 671-633-GRMC.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
I see studio time 6:35. Let me take a quick look at what's happening on your roadways. The most important thing I can give to you right now is the location of Optimus Prim. Optimus Prim is happily in the Ukadu area at this time.
Yay.
Made it all the way up there and will languish and then swing back down to the port for the last couple of runs until another, according to Tyler from Power on the Move, until another massive load comes in, maybe the most massive load of massive loads that they're going to have for this entire trip. That's going to be pulling into port, she said, in just a little bit. So keep an eye out for a few more announcements about Power on the Move. And don't forget about hitting the website every chance you get to learn more. In fact, the website will give you details on the intersections where they're going to be doing some deconstruction of medians here to make way for this other big, massive load that they've got coming up. All right, so the rest of the traffic looks like this, fairly clear just about everywhere. Anderson Air Force Base, where they're taking applications now for generals. I didn't realize that was the way it was going to work. I thought, when they relieved the guy of his command, I thought what was going to happen was they'd send over another guy from D.C. or Hawaii or someplace. But I guess they're doing it this way, so they're having a job fair at the Anderson Air Force Base starting about 9 o'clock this morning for a new general.
Yeah, wear your medals.
Yes,
everybody wear your medals.
Even the guy, even the Army guy on Marine Corps Drive. We should give him a shot. Why not? Otherwise, southbound traffic looking pretty good all the way through Dededo and then Upper Tumon into regular Tamuning Tumon area. Not so bad at all. 8, 10, and 16. A little bit busy on the 8 side, but most of the rest of Route 8 is running clear. 10 looking good all the way to the intersection of 4 and 10, and 4 is looking good all the way into the downtown Agutnia area. Nothing major, in fact, at all. Big Davy and Sumai running clear as well. So there it is. Enjoy the ride here. 6:37. This is the Ray Gibson Show.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
And you thought you knew everything there is about bottom fish and bottom fishing. Come to the Fishers Forum to learn about bottom fish in the Marianas. Thursday, March 30th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Guam Museum. Enjoy info tables, presentations, demos, and more. The forum is part of the Western Pacific Fisheries Management Council's 194th meeting, March 30th and 31st at the Guam Hilton Resort. Call 483-1904 or visit wpcouncil.org for more info. Bring the family. It's free.
Sorry, 6:38 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show. And, I did that interview with the lady Amy yesterday about the Western Pacific Council on Fisheries.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about a fish out of water. Ma'am, excuse me, miss. Can you talk slower? Because I'm having a hard time figuring out where in the world all of this other stuff is going on. So what's your area of responsibility? A quarter of the planet, anywhere between Japan and Philippines and Hawaii. Wow, how about that? Isn't that special? So is this about me and my friends going out and getting drunk on the boat and doing some fishing? And the answer was kind of no. And it just illustrated to a great degree how little I know about that kind of, almost industrial commercial fishing and the conversations that those people have. But they're bringing it down to a level that you'll be able to understand over at the museum. What day do you remember that was?
I don't.
Okay, but we'll get that information, put that on the air. Near as I can tell, though, because I said, will there actually be bottom fish to eat there? And she said, only if they have that at Food Truck Thursday. So that's when it's going to be. I think it's next Thursday night over at the museum. What was the big marijuana thing last night in Agutnia?
Was there? A lot of smoke.
Landa Martello, I don't know.
Come on, man. There was no marijuana thing down there.
We had to meet up with somebody in the downtown area last night. And my friend Chris comes in and he says, "Man, that was weird." I said, "What?" He says, "There was like a marijuana get together over by where that little community farm is."
Yeah.
On the foundation of the old administration building.
Across the prison.
Did they ask the legislature if they could do that? But anyway, so there was apparently a get together. My friend Chris knew about it, and I said, "How was it?" He said, "I wasn't comfortable, man." I said, "Why?" He said, "I was the oldest guy there." And he ain't that old. He isn't that old.
He had the smallest joint.
Yeah, so I was like, I was thinking, do I want to check this thing out? And I thought more about it, and I thought, I don't even want to roll my windows down as I drive past this place because I don't want that smell in the Frontier as I morph into the Nissan commercial. I don't want that smell in the Frontier. You want that? You smoke it in the back of the truck area there. Nissan Frontier season going on right now, and make a plan to go and do a test drive. Today's a good day for it. Tomorrow's going to be a great day for it. Nissan Frontier, you're going to love all of the improvements that they've made, redesigned indoors and out from the ground up for 2022 and 23. The super horsepower, 310. You will not be able to get into any kind of trouble with this, and if you run into somebody that does, you've got almost 7,000 pounds worth of towing capacity built into this Frontier. Put it in low boy 4, hook it up to the block in the back, and we're good to go. And so do the test drive today. You can win $1,000 in cash and set yourselves up for great prizes like free grills, coolers, canopies, and more when you buy it. When you buy the Nissan Frontier. Case of Spam, 25-pound bag of rice, the good stuff, the Cal Rose. In addition to that, here's the rest of the deal. No down payment. So don't even bother asking about it. They're just not even going to bring it up. You don't have to come in with any kind of money, not asking for a trade-in. If you got one, great. We'll talk, and then you get to keep that money. And the first 3 payments are going to be on Nissan. Get details at nissanguam.com.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
Everybody good? So far, so good. Not bad for a Friday morning. 6:42, Ray Gibson Show. You might be wondering, okay, are we going to get any actual news or information out of this program today? Or is there going to be soft and fluffy softballs that get, you know what? I'm thinking maybe a little balance of both. I think we'll go in kind of both directions here this morning. There's a lot to talk about, and some of it actually has to do with things going on over at the Attorney General's office. Doug Moylan is on with us this morning.
Doug Moylan. He's the toughest AG on crime. Doug Moylan.
Oh, and with graphic goodness here this morning, I've got the Candid page up online, and a report has been filed with Candid. More defendants released by judges commit crimes again. This is what happens. This is what we talk about, right, Doug? It's the capture. What do you call it?
Good morning, Ray. This is the Catch, Release, Reoffend program. But, Ray, before I start, I wanted to extend my condolences to DOC Director Bob Camacho's family. May he rest in peace.
I'm just getting wind on that here this morning in the last few minutes while the commercials are playing. And absolutely, please rest in peace. A terrific guy, and just knocked it out of the park when he was taking care of things over at the airport in their police department. And then of course the guy, as far as I was concerned, retired, right? And they asked him to come back and see what he could do over at the Department of Corrections, and he graciously did. And I kind of like the way that he was trying to strike a balance between, look, we've got some operational issues that we've got to take care of, but we can't let that stop us from doing what needs to get done at the Department of Corrections. And when people are out of line, he held them accountable to their actions, and I always appreciated that about him.
Yeah, he's a very good man, Ray. Very good man.
And a great photographer, tongue in my cheek firmly. He'd appreciate it. Maybe as the best picture of mine ever he took of me at a Guam International Guam International Airport 5K that they used to do back in the day, and he saw me sweating, but looking good, talking to girls, and he took a great picture of me, and maybe one of these days I'll put it up on the screen. Thank you, Robert, for everything that you've done for the community, and yes, to the family, our prayers and our condolences. 6:44 in the morning, it's just a way to, I don't know, the new guy should be a little bit busier with all of the criminals that you were trying to put away, but we've got issues, apparently. It almost feels like we've got a couple of rogue judges over at the courthouse that aren't seeing things the same way that the police department is, and your prosecutors at the Attorney General's office, because you're bringing people in and trying to get them incarcerated, at least in the short amount of time that they need to get to trial. And the judges are bouncing these guys back out. And what's the first thing they do when they get back out? Commit more crime.
You know, Ray, the facts speak for themselves. The documents speak for themselves. This is a waste of time. It's causing crime victims. The system has to change, because the AG's job is to protect the public, as is, like, Bob Camacho and Chief of Police Ignacio, everybody's trying to work to make a safer community. And this is why when we ran for election, I specifically was addressing the catch and release problem. We're spending an inordinate amount of resources from the courts, probation officers that are chasing these guys down, to the prosecutors who are being distracted from preparing for trial to keep these guys permanently locked up, to having to shift gears and to file revocation motions, spending so much time on what's normally done at the first stage. You set the release conditions and you make them stick. And if these defendants don't follow the law, don't follow that judge's order, you put them in jail and you keep them there. But we got to change the process on how quickly and easily these people are being released. They are not appreciating the importance of when the judge says and gives an order, you're going to go to that next hearing, you're going to stop taking those drugs, and you're going to stop making more crime victims. That's why we're releasing this information. It's hurting the public.
Well, a lot of stuff going on in my head here, and just kind of wondering why they seem so hell-bent. Is this a function of you're kind of reaching into their realm as judges and kind of telling them what to do?
It's the facts, Ray. And you know who violates them isn't the AG's office. It's the court's probation officers. Their own people are going out and finding that these defendants are not following the judge's orders. There's so much resources that is being wasted at the AG's office, let alone my having to do this data dump on request. Candid requested it. We produced it. You know, there's 11 violations, and this is less than 30 days. And this isn't even saying that probation hasn't identified other ones that are violating, because they've got so many officers themselves. So, again, this is a way to make Guam safer. We find it as an important process that we make known to the public. Catch, release, and reoffend. It's just not catch and release. These guys are, when they don't follow the judge's orders by appearing at a court hearing where a bench warrant is having to be issued, you've got GPD looking for them, you've got the court's probation looking for them, you've got another court hearing that's going to further delay other hearings that should be going to trial and moving the criminal justice system. You've got civil cases that have to wait for these cases to come back, deal with our motions to reincarcerate them. The magistrate judges were designed to make and save time for the regular judges. These are two individuals, and Judge Cison, according to the probation officers, had 9 violations in less than 30 days, from March 1 to March 22. Judge Kwan, 2 violations were filed. But if you look at them, 2 more crimes were alleged to be committed also. The police arrested 2 of them for committing DUIs, trespass, things like that, which again is wasting more of our time. If you keep them locked up or you put them in house arrest situations pending their trials, you're not going to have this type of situation. Plus, these, again, I keep on ranting on it, these personal recognizance bonds for $5,000. It sounds nice, but they don't even pay a penny.
No.
They just, at the end of it, they just sign a piece of paper, walk out of the court, and scoff at it. And then when you have to violate them, they don't have the attorneys to go chase them down for $5 a month, for the rest of their lives.
Sure. So it's not as much of a disincentive to stop their crime waves. I was also interested. The first time I saw the story wasn't on Candid's headlines on their website. It was actually on Facebook last night. Of course, Facebook is a much more open territory, and a lot more people can comment. Among them was Steve Hattori from over at the Public Defender's Office, who kind of chimes in and says, "So 2 committed new offenses. How many were actually released?" Look, 2 out of 100 is 2%. It would have been good to see how many have been released to see an accurate recidivism rate. And your point to him was?
It's too many. This isn't about percentages. When you're a crime victim, you don't care about what was done, how many other people are affected. You're only cared about that this person that should have been behind bars or being kept in a situation where they're not going to commit another crime aren't going to hurt you. And I think Mr. Hattori has better check his reality check out there, because when you're in the villages, you don't care if it's only a percentage that hurt these people. These are real crime victims. They're our neighbors. They're us. They're our loved ones. And, again, Mr. Hattori and that public defender is an arm of the judiciary. They are often called the 4th branch of government because they operate under the judiciary's purview. And I think that Mr. Hattori should be very careful how he addresses the people's prosecutors in that AG's office. He's very loose on how he likes to characterize the prosecutors that are working hard to keep us safe. His clients are the ones that should be put behind bars and kept there pending their trials when you see figures like this.
Well, he brought up one of his cases, and I think I've got the magistrate report for it. It says, yesterday you asked for a $2,000 cash bail for a first offender charged with retail theft. Had the indigent woman not had the benefit of a free lawyer as required by Gideon, she would be in jail today. However, if she was wealthy, she would be out in hours. I don't believe justice should be based on wealth. We will never agree on that. Your policy that only the rich should be free is elitist.
Well, you know, first of all, what the heck is that public defender trying to create class warfare? What does having an attorney have to do with a public defender? Is he saying that his public defenders are not good attorneys and that it's easier and better, or you get better representation when you go find an attorney in the private practice? You know, what's that about? This has nothing to do with the quality of attorneys. So, you know, he's trying to ferment a type of class warfare. You know, he put a statement in there about me personally, the Moylan Mansion. What the heck was that about? You know what I mean? Look at Facebook. The guy's out of control on Facebook. He's like Peter Santos. Where are these guys coming from? Who cares how much money I've earned in my life versus when you're getting your house ripped off or you're getting raped or murdered in the streets because of these people that should have been in jail. And look at the drug cases. There's people with the drug violations that are coming out again. There's a correlation between meth, committing crimes, and committing violent murders and violent crimes in general.
Well,
you know,
here's the long and short of this is we got to get a handle on this, and it's all hands on deck. We got the police looking for an armed robber yesterday. They put that word out. One of the scariest magistrate stories that Nana was reading this morning, it comes with a guy that reached over to shake hands with somebody at the store and got whacked in the face with a machete, sliced his face open.
Exactly. And we're checking the deportation. I sent that to the deportation attorneys over there and investigators to track that one. But, you know, Ray, this is the stuff where you're picking up the pieces. Most of the people that commit crimes are recidivists. They come back in the system. They got the long criminal history reports. We're giving it to the magistrate judges. Look at this guy's history. There's enough there to be worried. Don't release this guy. Put him on a house arrest situation. Put him on an ankle bracelet, but don't release him because you're going to create another crime victim. This is too esoteric when you go in the court. That's also why we're asking every crime victim to appear at those magistrate hearings and sit there and look at the judge in the eyes that you have this. I've been hurt by this individual. We're going to prove it at trial, but if you release him, there's going to be somebody sitting right next to me next week. And that's what's happening at the courts right now.
Well, my understanding is that one of the two judges that have been identified in your reports doesn't even want to hear it.
Yeah, well, we're having to spend resources to try to convince the judge, and this is with all due respect to the judiciary, that this system has to be looked at more carefully, has to be fixed, because it's hurting the people in the public. It's endangering our public. And the judge has reserved decision. You know, even the defense attorney, I believe, conceded to some of the points that my chief prosecutor was raising to the court. But, you know, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than any one judge. It deals with our community. It's affecting the elections. People are trying to find AGs that are going to be tough on crime in order to stop this. You know, and it's not about me. It's about the public, our safety.
Well, I was opining to myself yesterday as I was heading northbound on Marine Drive over at the ITC building that there were no panhandlers there.
It's a team effort, Ray.
Hey, no panhandler. Yeah, it's the guy that lives next to the Shell down the street. He finally showed up. His shift started about, 6 or 7 or something like that. So it was actually closer to 5. So he got out there in drive time traffic. I passed by there a couple of times. And the first time he wasn't there, but the second time he was. I didn't get a picture because I was moving. I was way too fast for that. But you know who I'm talking about. 6:54 in the morning.
Yes.
A couple of other updates while I got you online here. What page are you on with the Admiral's lease to the governor?
We're still reviewing it, Ray. Our time frame is 14 days, I believe, from Monday, whenever the governor had vetoed it, vetoed the legislative bill to try to stop it. So we're currently reviewing it. We're researching it. We will be writing either signing the document or providing a written explanation of why there's a problem.
All right. I'll be looking forward to that. And have you heard anything from district court, or is that still we're all still gathering evidence and all of the other legalese that goes on with regard to the Bell Areola's abortion law?
The district court and the Supreme Court of Guam, they're both setting their time frames towards having hearings on these different issues, motions that are being filed in the two different courts.
Roger that.
So we're working on it also.
All right. Well, you keep your nose on the grindstone. I know busy as usual. All days are busy with you, so I'm going to let you run and get your Friday started. Have a great weekend, Doug.
You too, Ray. Thank you.
888-8255, 888-TALK. I can't say it. I can't show it up on the screen. But if you are friends with Eric the Eagle, ask him for a copy of the new Chuki's Monopoly game. That's all I'm going to say about that, because that could get me canceled or killed one way or the other. 6:56 in the morning. Meme Machine Online, 797-8255. And thank you, Sabrina. Much love, Sabrina. This is it. This was the meme I was talking about. Happy International Women's Day, and you've got the wheel of the cars all scratched up from hitting the sidewalk, and you'll laugh and say, "That's not true. That's not true." I guarantee it is. You can see you drive down any neighborhood, take a look, and say you'd be able to identify all the mommy's cars based on those little scars that you get up there. So interesting stuff. A little bit of interesting back and forth for those of you that aren't on Facebook. For whatever reason, there are reasons to enjoy being in that particular social media space, because that's where Candid is posting, and that's where it seems to me the majority of the commentary, one way or the other, is going to be coming. I think he was, obviously annoyed with Stephen Hattori, and his comments. Peter Santos also laid in a little bit on the Facebook side, but I think the rest of it, when you would start talking about ratios, I think there were a good number of people that were like, Doug, forget about these guys. You do you, Doug. You just keep doing you, and trying to make the island safer and trying to uphold the laws and helping out where you can over at the Department of the Attorney General's office, and working with the police department and the Department of Corrections. And again, sad news to report here today that the director of the Department of Corrections, Robert Camacho, has passed away. I don't have too many details, and I'll leave the discussion of the details to their family, to his family, as it becomes available. I'm sure whatever it is, it's shocking. At any rate, we'll talk about that as we get more on the information. One of the other things I wanted to ask Doug, but he's not the appropriate guy to ask, is we were talking about the lease over at between the governor and the admiral over Lalu, the field area out there in Mangilao. So his response is, well, I'm still looking at the thing, although he kind of telegraphed something that I'll keep in my back pocket and see whether or not there's going to be an actual signature, or whether there'll be, well, I'd like some clarification, if you don't mind, on the parts of the lease and maybe some of the amendments to the lease and the appendages to the lease as well. In the meantime, the legislature is going to be, at some point, finishing up their deliberations on the pay raise bill, wherever that is right now. And they kind of got to, do it up today, because Monday is the start of the official March session of the 37th Guam legislature, and it's not a heavy schedule right now. There's only 3 things in there. It doesn't look like they're going to have a whole lot of impact one way or the other on life in general in our community, and 1 or 2 of these resolutions that are going to be posted by the legislature. It's all in the newspaper. You can find the ad and see what's going on. So I'm wondering, in between, are we going to do the veto override in between, or is that something that's going to wait until Monday? Because Cousin Troy, when we were talking, kind of made it sound yesterday like it might be something. You know what? We might as well. We're going to do the pay raise thing and send it up along with our override, or an override attempt of the veto of Bills 12 and 13 that the governor did earlier in the week. That will be very, very interesting, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you've got a dog in the hunt or not when it comes to this field, but we all need to know who in the 37th Guam legislature is working for Adelup as opposed to representing all of the rest of the people of Guam, because it's going to come out like that. It's going to be very, very clear as we start to see dissenting votes on that veto override. ride. So watch when it happens. It's 7. Here's Fox News.
A long day and a hot seat for the TikTok chief. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Hoping to avoid a U.S. ban, CEO Shoji Chu is getting grilled by both sides of the aisle on national security concerns and user data.
We hear these concerns. We didn't try to avoid them or trivialize them. We built something where we take that data and put it out of reach. This is what we did.
Chu says they have a firewall to prevent unwanted foreign access. He also denies spying on Americans.
The long-term goal of the Chinese Communist Party is the demise of the American power, and that starts with our youth.
Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw not buying Chu's assurances that Chinese parent company ByteDance is not under government control.
At any moment, they could demand that all of TikTok's data be used to design an AI algorithm with the sole purpose of promoting Chinese interests and destroying our society from within.
Lawmakers also sounding skeptical about Chu's pledges to care about teens and content rules. A different House panel digging into the defense budget, a record $842 billion request. That hearing just after the Chinese leader vowed in Moscow to create a new world order with Russia.
They're not better than we are. They have a long way to go for that, but they are closing the gap very, very quickly. It is incumbent upon us to make sure that we remain number one at all times. That will help keep the peace.
But Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley is defending a budget facing criticism that it's not enough. The Wall Street Journal's editorial board says the administration wants to retire ships prematurely at a time when China's Navy is growing. A bill blocking treatment for transgender teens is signed into law in Georgia.
Georgia becomes another state in what is an ideological effort to, as some states put it, safeguard children. A stipulation that makes this Georgia law a bit less restrictive is that when the law is enacted, children already on puberty blockers will be allowed to continue using them.
Fox's Gernal Scott, a lawsuit is planned. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Jade Uggan from Security Title, and in celebration of Tomorrow Month, here is a tip on dealing with your land. You might be thinking of giving part of your property to your child or another family member. Once you have subdivided the property and recorded the map, you will also need to record the deed transferring the title. Just drawing the map is not enough to make sure they actually own the land. Protehi I Tanonmu. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
Kentucky's governor takes emergency action on an opioid-like drug.
During his weekly briefing, Governor Andy Beshear announced an emergency regulation barring the sale of products containing the drug tianeptine.
This action stops the sale of this unregulated drug in Kentucky, which is known to produce opioid-like effects.
Also known as gas station heroin, tianeptine is available for purchase online and at convenience stores. It has no known medical use and has been linked to serious harm, including overdose and death, according to the FDA.
Until now, someone looking for a heroin-like high could walk into certain places.
Governor Beshear noting people with a history of opioid use and dependence are at particular risk. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
The CDC expands a warning about contaminated artificial tears eye drops.
While more than 10 different brands of artificial tears have been recalled, most cases have been linked to EzraCare and Delsum Pharma, both manufactured by Global Pharma Healthcare in India. We spoke with one woman in Florida who says she lost her eye after using EzraCare's artificial tears. Now living with a prosthetic eye, she is suing the manufacturer for damages.
Fox's Laura Ingle, the CDC says 3 people that use the eye drops have died and nearly 70 have been sickened from a rare strain of bacteria. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow still expected to testify at the trial over a Utah skiing accident involving retired doctor Terry Sanderson.
Today, taped testimony by a neuropsychologist was played in court. She explained the deterioration of Sanderson's outgoing life and relationship to a woman he was once engaged to. Sanderson is suing Paltrow for $300,000. He says she crashed into him on a beginner's ski run at Deer Valley Resort.
Fox's Alicia Acuna. Paltrow has a countersuit against Sanderson. Stocks finish up, but off session highs. The Dow gained 75. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
After a long wait, the biggest, juiciest, most flavorful chicken makes its return. The Circle K 3-pound rotisserie chicken is back. Get 3 whole pounds of perfectly seasoned chicken for all your family feasts. And for a limited time, pick up a rotisserie chicken and a Pepsi Family 2-liter soda, the perfect dinner combo, for only $19.95. Available at select Circle K stores. Swing by and take yours home today. Circle K, take it easy.
And you thought you knew everything there is about bottom fish and bottom fishing. Come to the Fisheries Forum to learn about bottom fish in the Marianas. Thursday, March 30th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Guam Museum. Enjoy info tables, presentations, demos, and more. The forum is part of the Western Pacific Fisheries Management Council's 194th meeting, March 30th and 31st at the Guam Hilton Resort. Call 483-1904 or visit WPCouncil.org for more info. Bring the family. It's free.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Donna De Jesus. Here's a look at your local news on The Point. Police are asking the public to help identify the man who robbed the Winster 2 game room on Route 16 in Dedido on Tuesday. Police say the man used a handgun in the robbery and fled the scene with a large amount of cash on foot into a residential area. The robber pointed a gun at a victim, shoved the person, and demanded money. No injuries were reported. The robber is between 5'6" and 5'8" in height and weighs between 145 and 165 pounds. He was wearing a black face mask, black hooded sweater, and beige pants. Anyone with information can call police at 475-8615 through 8617. And Governor Lulian Guerrero is reviewing Education Bills 21, 46, and 29, which appropriate $30 million for school repairs and maintenance, speed up the procurement process for ARP money allotted to GDOE, and forces the schools to be compliant with public health safety requirements by the start of the upcoming school year. Education Oversight Chair Senator Chris Barnett took to Facebook yesterday morning after the vote, saying it kind of nudges the governor to move personnel like the Department of Public Works to assist with our schools coming into compliance. The governor said her administration has repeatedly worked with GDOE's leadership, pointing out that construction wage cost is very competitive, which she feels is the bigger issue. There's no word on how soon the governor will take action on the 3 bills. More news after this.
Just in time for Lent. It's our delicious BK Big Fish Sandwich. 100% white Alaskan pollock, breaded with crispy panko, topped with sweet tartar sauce, tangy pickles on top of a warm toasted brioche bun. Also available, our Impossible Whopper, 100% Whopper, 0% beef. Enjoy your Lenten season with French fries or our new mozzarella sticks with a refreshing brewed, sweet, or unsweetened tea. We are ready to serve you this Lenten season. Now available at BK Hagåtña, Tuban Bay, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. Have an amazing day. You rule.
GITA voted yesterday to recommend limited tax breaks for the owners of the new Don Donki store in Tamuning, which is scheduled to open later this year. GITA's board passed a resolution that calls for a 100% abatement of real property taxes for 10 years, but rejected a request for large tax breaks on corporate income taxes and investor dividends. Pan Pacific Retail's application states that the company is about to develop a tourist attraction and should receive tax breaks because the store will employ hundreds of people and help bring visitors to the island by promoting the Guam store to customers in Japan. A GITA review panel voted 4-2 to reject the request for rebates on corporate and shareholder income taxes because Donki isn't bringing anything new to the local economy. It's primarily a retail and grocery store on an island that already has many such stores. And the Guam International Airport welcomed the first all-female crew on Philippine Airlines, known as GalPal, in celebration of International Women's Month. The flight's entire crew was comprised of 9 women in the cabin and the cockpit. A water cannon salute organized by PAL Guam and the Guam Airport Authority greeted Flight PR 110 upon its arrival. Flight attendant Pamela Santa Ana has been a a flight attendant since 2015 and says discrimination against women remains in the aviation industry, particularly in flight, adding that many passengers look down on female flight attendants. But Santa Ana gave words of encouragement to Guam's youth interested in aviation, calling it one of the best jobs in the world that is both a privilege and an honor. First Officer and PAL Pilot Affairs AVP Lilibeth Tang Ing says the milestone flight was a great way to celebrate women empowerment. And those were your top stories. Back to Ray with weather.
Remember yesterday you remember yesterday?
Walking hand in hand.
No, we weren't doing that. No,
I remember you. Yeah.
I was thinking about something different, but you remember yesterday we were talking about that ranch flavored ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
I do remember now.
Another story coming out from the food world here.
No, I'm scared.
This is retail food now. There's going to be miniature Twinkies.
Huh?
You had a dream about this when you were 7,
yeah.
but now you're going, okay, this is good. How about popcorn that's flavored like Cocoa Puffs? Cotton candy that comes in the flavor of Dr. Pepper. Food manufacturers know Americans are snacking more, and they're busy pumping out irresistible new junk food. Miniatures will proliferate. Frito-Lay, Keena McCausland, who works at a Walmart up in Washington State, will see these first. Frito-Lay is introducing fun-size versions of Doritos, Cheetos, and Sun Chips.
What do you mean?
Wow.
It's the chip, but smaller.
Perfect for my
Like
fun-size
the
diabetes.
Chip
Yeah, they're
size?
going to make the chip. No, it's not the actual chip size. They're going to make smaller proportion.
Smaller.
Oh, smaller bags?
Like a 1/10. No. Like a 1/10 scale Dorito chip.
How cute.
So instead of it being like this, it will be like tiny, the tinier versions of it. Hostess.
So basically a bag of crumbs?
That's what it always ends up to be that way when I buy it. Hostess is making a new line of bite-sized Twinkies, ding-dongs, and donuts. They're going to be called Bouncers. Incidentally, donuts. I can feel my teeth grinding against each other now. No. With there's something in there. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos Empire will have a new tangy chili fusion.
Interesting.
I know. Is that a concern among any of the parents around here? Is the incredible rate that their kids are eating the hot Cheetos, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
I mean, one bag to the next bag and wash it down with that tea and everything, and you just got to wonder. You tell those kids. You tell them, enjoy it now while you're young, because you're going to get to be a certain age, and if you eat one flaming hot Cheeto, you might as well put the toilet paper in the freezer now. Put it in and it'll be there for days. So put 2 rolls in just in case, because that's what happens when you get old. The popularity of co-branding is going to bring us Reese's dipped animal crackers.
Crackers.
I said crackers. Reese's dipped animal crackers.
I want those crackers.
Cinnamon toast crunch bugles. You remember the little bugle things?
I do.
Yes.
Well, why are they making everything sweet?
I don't know, but
that hurts my tongue.
I played that in a band, Ray.
You played it in the band?
Yeah, the bugle.
the cinnamon toast crunch bugles.
Yay.
And they're going to have chicken fries from Morningstar Farms, chicken fries coated with Pringles. Now, that
sounds good.
That actually sounds pretty good. Cinefuego Toast Crunch Snack Mix, cereal-flavored popcorn, and Lucky Charms s'mores. So you can claim to have breakfast any time of the day. And we thought Pop-Tarts were creative when we were kids, right?
I still like Pop-Tarts. No frosting.
And the next big thing, I like grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
I hate making grilled cheese sandwiches.
Why? It's so easy.
I know it is. It's like a pan and butter, and then you got to do the thing, and you toast it, and you put the cheese on.
You need a panini press, man.
And,
panini press.
There's a figured out a way. Kraft, I think it's Kraft, is going to come out with grilled cheesies. Which will be something that you can buy, stick it in a microwave for a minute, and then out pops a perfectly created grilled cheese sandwich.
It's in the microwave, so it's going to be mushy.
Soggy.
You don't like that crispy. You don't?
They got Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets, you come out fairly crispy.
Put that aluminum sleeve.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got to have that thing. It probably comes with something along those lines. But that's what's coming up here. And these might be like, sometimes best of times, worst of times. But there's not one thing that I mentioned in that whole write-up there that I would not eat, that I would not spend really good money over at Payless. So, Miguel, if you're listening, those are some of the things I'll be looking for in the snack aisle the next time I'm pushing my cart up and down Payless. 7:15 in the morning. Let's do the weather. You want to? All right, there's the music, so we have to now. Mostly sunny, highs near 87 degrees. We got great features outside. We got a whole bunch of clouds and everything, and it all looks like it's holding back. It's like there's this low pressure thing or high pressure, whatever it is, that is keeping all of that snot down where it's supposed to be, and is making for some great days up here. Mostly sunny today, mostly sunny tomorrow, and I got my fingers crossed that we'll see mostly sunny skies on Saturday and Sunday as well. Daytime highs 87 with the heat index is going to end up to feel like 94 degrees. Sunrise this morning was at 6:23, and yeah, I've got pictures from Jeff and the guys over at Pirates Cove that will show you what a gorgeous day it is starting to look like. That's what it looked like about 6 o'clock this morning, but before you know it, the sun is breaking out over the horizon. Oh, you didn't get a chance to see it? Okay, there's the early morning shot, and there's the here. Oh my God, slow down! Here comes the Friday, and there will be yet more of those things before the sun actually makes its way up over the sky. So thanks, Jeff, for sending those in. Sunset tonight will be at 6:32. Hashtag tell the others. There it is. News and weather together. 93.3. This is The Point.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
KFC's $5 breakfast deals are the best and most affordable ways to start your day. The Colonel's Chicken and Rice Bowl, $5. Chicken fried steak, $5. Sausage, biscuit, and gravy, $5. And they all come with a fresh coffee. KFC $5 breakfast deals are served starting at 6 a.m. daily at your favorite KFC restaurant. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Ray Gibson Show portion is brought to you by American President Lines, a global presence with a local home, as well as my friends over at GRMC, Guam Regional Medical City. They're your healthcare partners.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
There's criticisms everywhere, right? So one of them comes from the interesting article about the all-female flight crew that came in from Philippine Airlines yesterday. A bunch of lovely ladies, a bunch of talented, smart ladies as well. They don't just let you drive an airplane.
No,
for virtue signaling. They're not going. We need more diversity and inclusion here. So let's let girls that are unqualified fly airplanes. You got. I'm sure they have the same standards as all of the guy airplane pilots that I hang out with. Flight attendants.
I'd like to learn how to fly a plane.
It's not that hard.
No,
it's not. You just need
all
a lot
those
of
buttons. Sleeping in the cockpit.
All right, you and I work with fairly sophisticated electronic systems, and every button has a purpose, but you're not always touching every button. We need this button on because we're taking off, and then we'll turn it off once the plane's in the air. So it's not like you've got to be apprised of the situation.
Hit them all.
Yeah, no, touch them all. Absolutely, absolutely, and just see what happens there. But it ain't that tough. You and I both know pilots, and we're smarter than they are. But they've got this thing they've figured it out how to get the airplane up in the air and then land the thing properly.
To be able to see, and I'm blind.
There is
I bet they leave
vision.
the toilet seat down, Ray.
That's why.
How dare they?
I bet they have their own. I'm sure they have their own up there.
They probably have
girls
bidets
own
on
it.
that plane.
Bidets for sure, and little doily things. So now we're getting into a whole realm. But Dennis is asking, who says you're looking down at female flight attendants?
She did. Maybe that's only from the Philippine flights.
Maybe, yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I know many flight attendants, female flight attendants that I absolutely would worship and adore. Just absolutely terrific people. And they go through their amount of training these days. And the job has not gotten any easier. What with all of the issues that are facing people that fly on airplanes, the cost of getting there, all of the hassles that you've got to get through to get on the airplane. You stop by the bar, grab a couple couple of drinks, and then all of a sudden you go into a bad mood and you square off against somebody on the plane, and she's like, "Sir, I just want you to sit down. Could you just take a seat? And if you're supposed to wear a mask, please wear a mask. Could you just do all of that stuff?" Now, on the other hand, I have also ridden on airplanes where the flight attendants were kind of judgy and lippy, but you get sometimes you get the good ones, sometimes
Stay
you
calm.
I've always found that the less judgy and lippy ones were in first class or business. Just saying. I don't know. There's something about what happens in the Section 8 place in the airplane that just kind of, I don't know. It's everybody's triggered one way or the other. It's one of my favorite videos that you see on the Twitters and the Instagrams and stuff. Is all of the people that are fighting with the flight attendant. Like they're going to win and everything is going to be okay. I'll be able to sit in my chair and fester in my wokeness, and the plane will take off. But what I've discovered is if you're still on the ground in most of these videos and you start to get shirty with the airplane lady, she will call big guys and police officers from outside, and they will remove you from the airplane. I don't know that there are too many win situations that I've seen.
Yep. Most people who act like that keep forgetting that flight attendants are not wait staff. They were trained to save your life.
Exactly. And know how to deal with you when you've had a little too much to drink. And there's other guys. If they are in flight, there's other guys on the airplane that will duct tape you to the chair from the head to the toe. So let's not look down on our flight attendants, male or female, one way or the other. And congratulations to the all-lady staff of Philippine Airlines. But what brought me this was I got a message, and I'm not going to say who because I don't want him to get canceled for being part of the patriarchy. He says, "Oh, yeah, I'll bet they didn't use gals to handle baggage and check under the hood before they take off. Man, I'm so tired of corporate virtue signaling."
Is there a hood in the plane?
I don't think it's under the
I hope he doesn't work there, man.
I don't think so. I think they got like a trunk. They got more of a trunk. 7:21 in the morning. Quick look at what's going on around the in the world of business, et cetera, and where the markets all ended up today. Lousy day on the markets yesterday. Pretty good day today. The S&P 500 up by 11 points. NASDAQ picked up 117. Are they the big winners? Yeah. Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 75 points. We got the FTSE that is down by 67. Nikkei off by 47. Hang Seng is up 458 points, making up, I think, for what was a down day yesterday. Shanghai Index picked up 20. The VIX is up by less than a half a point, and the DAX down by almost 6. On the commodities, well, we'll get around to that. Let me look and see if there's anybody interesting here. Netflix is picked up 9% worth of value, putting them at the top of the S&P 500. NASDAQ's big leader also is Netflix. What's going on there? I might have a story to tell you about how they're trying to create their own streaming universe. Eyes on video screens are down in a lot of different places, and the streaming companies aren't immune to that. You got to keep coming up with the next big deal. You keep finding the next Stranger Things or the next Tiger King or the next Ted Lasso. And those things don't just pop up out of thin air. Netflix trying to be proactive about making sure that they've always got something good that they can stream. Intel, Microsoft, Amgen, Nike, and Visa round out the top 5 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. All right, so on the commodities, gold trading at $19.96. Wait a second. This is a number. Open your eyes. We don't normally see it jump as high as it did today. Gold, $1,996. That's $46 higher than it was yesterday. What's going on? Oil at $69.47. Glad to see West Texas crude under $70 for the barrel. Tapas crude at $76.24. Do you remember where it was yesterday? Lower. It was lower yesterday than it is today. $76.24 for tapas. I'm not saying that 1 week you giveth and 1 week they taketh away. But just
they wouldn't do that.
If you've got
it's Friday.
I'd have to look at the graph to see how closely spaced some of the ups and downs have been with the gas companies. If I get motivated, I'll do that a little bit later on. But $76.24 is where tapas is right now. A couple other interesting things happening with the numbers here. The yen trading at 130 and a half or so, and as we've pointed out over most of the week here, a lot of these Asian currencies seem to be getting stronger against the greenback. 130, that's not bad. Some of you might be going, well, wait a second. When was the last time that we'd seen that penny yen thing? And that would have been around Christmas time of
penny yen.
Yeah, that's what I call it. It's a penny yen. So you've got it's $100 yen for the dollar. So a penny yen. The yen is equal to about a penny. All right, so that's why I call it that penny yen thing. The last time was around Christmas time of 2020. The yen trading at 103 yen to the greenback. Now, you might also be wondering, well, when was the last time we saw it in really, really strong numbers? I mean, really, you got to dig all the way back into the archives, and it was August of 2011 when we saw the yen. It was 76 yen to the dollar. That kind of strength.
Wow.
2011. So the question I've got is, I wonder what visitor arrivals on Guam felt like, smelled like in August of 2011.
Is there an answer to that question?
I did not. No, I did. I get to this just before I'm done prepping for the show. So I might see if I can scare up some archives from the GVB to find out what kind of numbers we were seeing out of Japan back in the 2011. 76 yen to the dollar.
When was the first time you went to Japan?
That would have been in 1972.
Me too. In 1972.
Yes.
Do you remember what it was then?
It was 4-1.
360.
Yeah.
360 to the dollar.
So if you had a 100 yen coin in your pocket, that was equivalent to about 25-30 cents, is my recollection, because that was the coin that you used for everything to buy in the vending machines. Yeah, that was something else.
I mean, you walk through the streets, a young guy with no money in his pocket, you're walking through like you were on the top of the world.
Back in those days, somebody drops a coin, 100 years turn around to pick it up. Where is that? Because that was some valuable coinage that they had back in those days. Sure, I remember that very, very vividly, and it was a treat to fly to Japan. It's like, this money feels like monopoly money. Yeah. The won also, wait a second, Philippine peso 54.3 and the won at 1286.97. So in the last bunch of days, we've been talking about the won. Up around 1,300, but 1286 is stronger today than it was yesterday. So there we go. Those are the currencies, and it might inspire you to do some traveling. It might inspire you to do some outreach to those source markets and saying, "Hey, your money's looking like it's gonna spend better here on Guam. Now might be a good time to book some travel." All right, and the last thing that we look at before we're all done, Real Joe, is
$28,074 on the Bitcoin.
All right, so it looks like it's leveled off.
Yeah.
All right, haven't heard anything from the whales out there. 727, Jerry Roberts is in the studio. It's Friday. Is today a very special extra point?
All depends.
Huh? Let's get around to it. All right, I appreciate the tease. Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
Thank you. Somebody once said business is about who has the best story. The story is what can land you a job. The story is what can lead someone to invest in your idea. The story is why people want to buy your product or service. We'll dig into this next on the Extra Point.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
Hafa-day, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
When you bought your cell phone plan, you chose between IT&E, GTA, and Docomo. They all offer the same phones, the same coverage area, and the costs are, though sometimes confusing, pretty much the same. So why did you choose the one that you have now? Let's talk cars for a few moments. Guam has a handful of dealers that offer multiple lines of vehicles with a great variety of features and at relatively comparable price points. Atkins Kroll, Auto Spot, Cars Plus, Nissan, Prestige Auto, and Triple J all have a lot of options along with the capability to service what they sell you. So why did you select one over the others? If you've been with a particular dealer for years through multiple purchases, what made you buy from them the first time? In both cases, the cell phone companies and the auto dealers, it's almost certain that one of the main reasons you bought from them is that you bought into their story. Or maybe you bought into the story of the brand of the phone or the vehicle that you decided on. In any case, stories are a big part of a buying decision, even if we don't always recognize that. Let me give you a case in point. A long time ago, I was following a discussion on a marketing forum online on just this topic, and the moderator began with asking for the tagline that people used for their company. You know, name your company, and beneath there's some pithy tagline that hopefully describe what you did. So for Guam training at the time, I was using changing Guam's workforce one mind at a time. Not bad. Okay. All right. Someone chimed in with the words to the effect that, yay, that's pretty good. But now, why should I hire you? So if you had 2 minutes, what would you tell me? What would be your story and make me want to hire you to be my trainer? I gotta say, What in the story? I hadn't really given that much thought to that point. I knew a little bit about branding. I'd heard about story, but honestly, I wasn't up to speed on it. I had some ideas of what it could be, but they weren't exactly in story form. So I had some work cut out for me. I visited the concept from time to time, trying to piece it together, and it took a long, long time to do it. And over the years, it's evolved. So today it sounds something like this. I ask a lot of questions up front. I get to identify what your true training needs are. My decades in journalism and media have taught me what to ask, and how to probe deeper to get the information needed to help you make the right decisions that are needed for your training to be successful. I communicate your needs in a way that ties the end results to your objectives, so long as everyone does their part. My radio and public speaking background lets me make training more engaging for your team. It has to be focused, interesting, challenging, and entertaining. I'll use every learning tactic I know to deliver on those factors so your people will stay connected and come out of the training with a greater purpose to transform themselves and to work better with others. I've got literally thousands of evaluations to show that we hit the mark on those points. I'll also work with your HR and other managers to develop a plan to help your team implement the training, giving you a better return on your investment. Companies generally hire us more than once. Some work with us throughout the year, year after year. I intend to show you why they do. When someone hires me, they get all of me, everything I am and everything I've learned. I bring my A game every time. You and your team deserve nothing less. Now, what I just gave you took about 90 seconds to deliver. All of it is the truth, and if I was effective in getting my message across, you should have a reasonably good idea of what you would get if you hired me to work with your organization. Now, 90 seconds. Okay, it wasn't a commercial exactly, but a brief lesson in developing a story that gives someone an idea of the value that you bring. You don't get long to make an impression in today's marketplace. 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. For you, it could be more, or it could be less. Know this, attention spans are short, very short. So you have to make the most out of the least amount of time. When you next sit down with your team, ask how well your story is resonating with the marketplace. Is it accurate? Do your customers believe it? Do your employees believe it? Whatever your work is, there should be a story to explain it. Do you have one? How could it be better? What could you change? Craft your story, live your story, tell your story. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Now, there's one other thing I'd add to that, and that is try to put yourself in a position where you don't have to tell a story. Everything that you said in that 90-second elevator speech, they already need to know that about you. You want to be somebody's like Jerry Roberts doesn't need to give that speech. People already know that you are top drawer, and that's the reason why so many people come to you time and time again. I would go so far as to say I'm the same way. You know what you get when you hire me to do something.
Your reputation precedes you, in other words. Okay.
Exactly. So try to build up a great reputation so when somebody meets you in the elevator or in the hallway, they go, "Hey, I heard about you. You available?" Give it a shot. See how it works. That's what the hustle is all about. 7:34 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts and today's very special extra point. Now, news and headlines with Donna D being brought to you by Burger King. Yeah. They got Whopper. They got the Impossible Whopper, 0% beef, 100% Whopper. You can get that, and it won't bother anybody over at the church. Fully approved, ladies and gentlemen, along with the big fish sandwich that they've got over at BKU Rule. Also, now the news here is also being brought to you by the team over at Holiday Realty. If you've been looking around at some property and saying, well, better buy now before the interest rates get much higher, now is the time to pull the trigger on that investment. By all means, let them know so that they can point you in the direction. First of all, you got a great MLS, but then the other thing is they got the keys to all of the buildings or condos or retail properties that you want to be a part of at holiday.realty@gmail.com. Now with news and headlines, here's Donna D.
Fire department units responded to a house fire along Isangsang in Dedido yesterday afternoon. GFD spokesperson Nick Garrido says the home was unoccupied at the time and no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is unknown and was extinguished within 20 minutes. GMH's system is now 80% restored, including services like billing. A third-party agent has been brought in to investigate how the hospital got hacked 3 weeks ago. GMH officials say the FBI has identified a suspect, but the hospital declines to say anything more while the investigation is ongoing. The GVB board has elected new leaders. Tan Holdings VP George Chu was elected chairman, replacing Milton Morinaga, who remains on the board. BOG president and CEO Joaquin Cook is the new vice chair. Cortec chairman Ho Un was chosen as treasurer. Triple J COO Jeff Jones will serve as secretary. And GPO GM Monty Mesa was elected as the 12th GVB board member. And those are your local headlines. Back to Ray.
You know, if you see Ho in your Facebook feed, if you're not friends with him, see if you can friend the guy. Because he does these little extra points in his Facebook feed as well. Yeah. He's and you know, he's arguably one of the most successful men on Guam. And if these are the kinds of things that are occupying his mind and the kinds of things that he's sharing on his Facebook page, maybe you do want to be a part of that. So look around on Facebook. I'm not trying to build up any following for him. I'm just saying he puts out some really, really interesting stuff. And it might be the kind of thing that you read once and that hinges your day and your day's success might hinge on it. 7:36 in the morning. All right, there's Jerry. There's Donna D. We'll come back with look at what's going on the roadways probably after these.
GVB presents the return of Koku Weekend at the Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park in Tumon on Saturday, April 15th and Sunday, April 16th. Register online today at visitguam.com/Koku. Shirts to the first 500 kids registered for the Koku Kids Fun Run and finishers dry fit shirts designed by Run Guam to runners registered for the Guam Koku Road Race 10K Walk Run event. Register today at visitguam.com/Koku or contact GVB at 646-5278 for more details. Koku Weekend is a GVB signature event.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup.
Including working with SBA or GITA.
Banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
As CEO of Jack in the Box, I wake up at dawn every day to get to work. As a customer, you can sleep in and still get 2 sausage croissant sandwiches all day long. But I get my name on the building, so it's a trade-off. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
What happened? It's 7:38. I can do this. I was reading up on some of the teachings of Mr. Ho.
You can do this.
I can. You got an interesting one I'll share with you in a couple of minutes. But first, let me share what's happening with the traffic. Looks like things have died down at Anderson Air Force Base, and the job fair for the next brigadier general going on right now. I'm sorry, it's funny to me. We've got a little bit of southbound traffic affecting you right in front of Paris Acres, but that'll clear up. A little bit heavier traffic on the way into Ipalpao and Waiseng Song up in Dedido, but it looks like it's fairly clear after that. It's still kind of early for it. It's still about 22 away from the top of the hour, so expect things to build up around 1 and 3 before too much longer. 16 and 1, the what do I call it? The Chicken Joy intersection from time to time. Look for southbound traffic. Not so bad from there all the way through to 8, 10, and 16. Running fairly smoothly out there. I'm not sure what's going on. Only a little bit of traffic in front of Happy Mart and only a little bit of traffic in front of Wendy's. Is today a day off for school?
No.
Somebody asked me while I'm thinking about it. Somebody said, "Hey, I thought today was going to be Lie Day Friday in honor of Julian Jensen over at the Progressive Democrats of
Julian who
of Guam." He said, "What happened?" I said, "It was a lie." So I'm sorry. Anyway, so the rest of the traffic looks like this: 8, 10, and 16. Route 8 running fairly clear right now. Don't see a whole lot of dogging out traffic. Probably more traffic on Route 4 with everybody from the south heading through there trying to get into the downtown and Gutnia area. Nothing major through there. A couple of places on Marine Corps Drive south of Adelup where you'll start to slow things down a little bit, and then by the time you get to Big Navy, everything is all groovy. Seeing a little bit of traffic just past the intersection. Looks like just before you get to the turn over by the Kamachili store. I might need to zoom into this a little bit more, but that area there up on Cross Island Road. Oh, wait a second. I'm completely turned around here. Sorry. You make your way. You know where the intersection is between Elick, Route 17 and Route 4, just around Guam Memorial, Guam Windward, the memorial up there, the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? Our Lady of Peace Memorial Gardens, that place, the golf course, that whole area there. I'm seeing a lot of traffic through there, and I'm not entirely sure why. There generally isn't any of that stuff. So if you're in that mess, by all means, 888-8255. Let Joey know about it, or 797-8255, and let me know about that as well. In 20 minutes, it'll be 8 o'clock. I'll be right back.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company, or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
It's March Madness month on GTA. That means big discounts and awesome giveaways. Come into GTA today and get the all-new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra with a 200-megapixel camera and advanced photography. Your selfies will look amazing day or night. Purchase a Samsung Galaxy S23 series smartphone and get on our best unlimited plan for as low as $65 a month. Plus get a free $200 Payless gift card when you open a new line. Terms and conditions apply. Offer good while supplies last. Smartphone month at GTA. We start with you.
Studio time 7:41. That's also Beyond the Box time. Swing by BTB in the Micronesia Mall. Just how many Bluetooth devices does a band need? How many Bluetooth speakers does a band need, Real Joe? As many as you can get, because I'd like the idea that I got one that I can take to the beach that's impervious to sand and water and all of that crap. And then I like one that's got a big boomy sound for the rooms. And I got like a couple that are just nice for lounging around in the back porch while I'm drinking my beer and spying on my neighbors. Sometimes I say too much. I was earlier remarking about Mr. Hole from Cortec and suggesting that if he pops up in the "you might know him" section on Facebook, go ahead and ask for a follow. Ask for a follow, just so you can see what he writes. First of all, I love the man's humility. As I say, arguably one of the most successful guys here on Guam. Everybody knows Cortec, and everybody I know has got kids that are applying for the Cortec scholarship right now. But in his biography, he just says, "I work at Cortec." What do you do? I work at Cortec International Corporation.
Big ego.
Yeah, right. It's massive. But he writes, and I want to share this with you because I thought it was. I thought it was interesting, if not helpful, on maybe how you ought to live your life. It says, if you think that a free life begins after retirement, then retirement with financial independence becomes the first goal. That's because we assume that is when life will start. However, if you accept that life is living, every moment is already life. If you accept that life is living, every moment is already life. Then the goal of life becomes living itself. That means success, achievement, and accomplishment are not what life is all about. Then you won't need any expectations either. Life is about living. So what's the big deal? Is it some big thing down the road that you're in love with? This massive goal? Or is it, you know what, I just want to have as much fun today as I possibly can, be as nice to people as possible, do my business, and just kind of enjoy the time that God put me here. 7:44 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. Man, I got full lines going, and I'm going to try to get knock a couple of these things out. So I'm going to start with Darrell Chris Barnett, and thank him very much for putting the Chris Barnett Show back on Facebook.
Thanks, Ray. Viva
Viva. All right. Well, I just thought it was kind of interesting the other day as my buddy Rico shared the link with me to view what was going on. I thought this was going to be a little 5-10 minute thing, a little short Twitter-sized blast. But you kept me awake all the way through my nap with basically a play-by-play on everything that the legislature has been up to since about last Friday, right up until that moment where you were applauding the idea that the 3 education bills had finally been passed. And I didn't want to bug you yesterday, but congratulations. I think that between you and Sabine, Chris, and so many others over at the legislature, we've now got some guidance for the Department of Education to go to and access if the governor signs off on everything to the money that they need to take care of the schools.
Yeah, Ray, thank you for that, and I really hope the governor does sign off. I know we got a lot of different issues moving along at the same time, and I'm just glad, look, with my colleagues here in the 37 Guam legislature, I mean, Lord knows we have our differences on, different issues, but when we're able to unite on these big ones like education, public safety, for me, it's really reassuring of just the direction we're gonna go in. And I said it on your show. I mean, it's one of the first call-ins I did after inauguration was, I feel like we're so far behind the curve on these basic issues like education, public safety, healthcare that the partisanship of Republican, Democrat doesn't matter. I think the solutions don't have a party attached to them, and that's what I think that was demonstrated in this emergency session. I mean, even though we had the looming threat and the interference from the governor calling the special session, I mean, we're still able to recess that special session and kind of set it to the side until we're ready to really deal with it, which we're doing now, and then B, come to a great consensus. I mean, basically unanimous support of these measures outside of Vice Speaker Tina Barnes, who was excused and absent. So, I mean, that was really reassuring. And with the Facebook Live, I've been wanting to go on and do more of these, broadcasting these shows. But I mean, I dove right into the deep end with education, public safety, and the Committee on Rules. So I've been really trying to just stick my head under the water and learn all the processes. Because, I'm the kind of person, like, I know we have great people in place to do a lot of the heavy lifting, but I like to know how everything goes and what the processes are, because I don't like to ask anybody to do anything that I don't know how to do myself. And there's a lot that I don't know about a lot of the procedural stuff here in the legislature. And so I'm really grateful that I've been able to really kind of jump in and adjust to the steep learning curve, thanks to a lot of the experienced staff that we have here at the legislature.
No, that's kind of the idea. Is you lay down a lot on the staff and just go, look, before I make an ass out of myself, what's the correct way? What's the correct way to say this while I'm out there?
Sometimes it's like, excuse me, I made an ass out of myself. I'm ready to get out of there.
7:47. Chris Barnett on the line now, and it was humorous to me for you to point out in the deal the other day about the lease and how even Lee Weber has taken a position not necessarily against the military, but even Lee Weber, who's red, white, and blue underwear wearing guy, says, yeah, there's something hinky going on here, and why is this all been done in secret? Why are we just finding out now about the depth of the conversations that have been taking? And then I'm sure you've heard it, is people asking out loud, hey, where's all the activists on this? All these people, and you pointed out first, I think, is all of these people who should be, descending on the governor's office, descending on the legislature to make sure that we remember about ancestral landowners, et cetera, et cetera. Where's all those voices? Well, we finally got one. Uncle Robert Underwood in today's Pacific Daily News has written about the fourth branch of government.
Man, it's about time my Nino Uncle Robert came out with a good column, because he's been kind of hyper fixated on hating on me and the job I'm doing here with education. And so I was really relieved to read that column. And, Ray, I think the issue with a lot of these activists, I mean, you've got your group that moves on a lot of issues, but the problem I see is a lot of these activists are on the payroll with Adelup, and so they're compromised, and they can't come out and say, like, the basic truths that they would normally say. And it was a genius move on the governor's part, because she bought the silence of these groups and these activist groups, and even a lot of these groups that really support liberal socioeconomic agendas. She did that. She was able to do that not just by hiring a lot of them, but by giving them millions of dollars in grant monies. And so, I feel for them. It's never good to be in a position where you can't speak your mind, especially coming from an activist background.
Noted.
But yeah, you're right, Ray. The real issue with this lease is it's not, and I don't appreciate how Adelup has painted anyone who criticizes this lease as paranoid, as anti-American, as obstructionist, because, hey, like I said, if Lee Weber's coming out and saying, whoa, wait a second here, what are we getting into? And now if Robert Underwood, who has been pushing the Lou and Josh agenda, is also kind of breaking from the fold and saying, hey, we need to take a closer look at this. And I really appreciate the way Robert Underwood has called out the Admiral. I mean, this guy is not an elected official, and I think he's throwing around way too much weight for somebody who we didn't vote for. I mean, he is making pronouncements and pushing deadlines. You have 28 days to sign this lease or else. Right. I mean, that's never a good thing when people are putting you, you talk about an impossible to meet deadline, and we're just not getting any of the information. And I'm going to call up Governor Lou and Lieutenant Governor Josh. If this is such a great deal for the people of Guam, why the secrecy? I mean, nobody hides a good deal. If this is a great deal, come down to the people's house. I would love for the governor and lieutenant governor to come down here and have a public forum and go down each of the sections of the lease and explain why they think it's a good deal for the people of Guam. I don't think that's too much to ask. And
I think you should ask. I think there ought to be that. I think maybe there ought to be a call to session. I'm not saying subpoena, but look, we're going to override this veto and unless you come down and explain it to us in ways that we can understand. And you can bring your boyfriend, the general. Admiral, sorry.
Yeah,
that's Admiral.
And I mean, and I think you have a lot of the same thing going on with the general pay plan pay increases. Is the governor is all too willing to pass down these ultimatums or to put the legislature in a corner and force us to make these decisions when we don't have all the information that would allow us to make an informed decision in front of us. I mean, with this lease, she's basically saying take her word for it. And if you go through the first few pages, there are some major red flags, and even Attorney General Doug Moylan has called out these red flags. So again, outside of the override attempt on the bills, the couple bills that she vetoed, I would just honestly, at this point, I'm begging the governor to come clean with this lease and to have public forums where not just the senators get to look at this lease and comment and propose changes or ask the hard questions, but the people of Guam as well. Last time I checked, the people of Guam, they definitely deserve to have a chance to at least know what we're getting into. And that's what I don't appreciate is, again, if this is such a great deal for the people of Guam, then let's see it.
Show us. 7:52, Senator Chris Barnett, I appreciate your time here. I'm going to let you go with one thought. I know that you knew him and had the opportunity to interview and interact with him a lot. Just your thoughts on the news that Robert Camacho from the Department of Corrections has passed away.
Yeah, it's tragic, man. I got the news last night, and we're working with Director Camacho because we had to confirm him as the director of the Department of Corrections coming up pretty soon here. But Robert has always been someone who provides a stable leadership. Although he is a political appointee, I would never call him political. This is a guy who has really put in good work for the people of Guam. From administration to administration, from Republican governors to Democrat governors, Robert has always been just one of those people who knows what he's doing and who, there's no hesitation for our leaders to turn to him and to, lean on him to kind of navigate a lot of the issues with public safety, whether it was, his time with the airport police or his time with the Department of Corrections. And I'm going to miss that because there's just way too much politics in, a lot of the leadership now. And Rob was just one of those guys that I could talk to, frankly. I mean, we had a bunch of meetings this year. I think we shared a common vision for the Department of Corrections moving forward. And I believe his leadership is going to be missed at the Department of Corrections.
I guarantee it.
I'm definitely gonna miss his level-headedness and his willingness to engage on the issues, regardless of whether somebody's an elephant or a donkey.
He always took the phone call. 7:53 in the morning,
Yeah.
Senator. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a fantastic. Maybe I'll ask Chris. I got Chris Duenas on the other line, the other Chris, and so I might ask him. Are you anticipating an override attempt here today, or are you going to wait until the regular session on Monday?
I don't think procedurally we can address that in this special session that the governor called us into, because I believe that we can only address the specific measure on the agenda. But I know that we're going back into the regular session
Monday.
Although I don't think this is going to be much of a regular session if we're going to be entertaining this override veto. And I just got to again implore my colleagues. I think this is really about, is this the best deal for the people of Guam? And we got to get into this lease. And I believe that overriding the governor's veto will allow us to do that.
Absolutely. 7:54. Appreciate your time again. You have a fantastic weekend, Chris. 888-825-5888-TALK. Before I get to the other Chris, on screen right now, a picture of a couple of my favorite guys. I've got one, Jeff Pleadwell from Pirates Cove, standing next to Don Farrell from Tinian. Actually, one of the greatest historians in the region. Jeff, are you there? Oh, he's actually listening on the stream. Jeff, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, turn the thing down. I mean, I sound great, and I like hearing the sound of my own voice, but I want everybody to be able to hear what you've got coming up. Something special this weekend, tomorrow, Sunday afternoon at Jeff's Pirates Cove. What's happening?
Yeah, well, first I want to welcome all the ERO vets back to Guam that have been here this week, and military historic tours, and Ambrose, and all these guys that are just enjoying Guam and getting ready for their trip to Iwo Jima Saturday.
Yeah.
We've been having little buffets for them here and good times, and this Sunday we're going to have everybody down here, and that famous author Don Farrell from Tinian will be here signing his Liberation Day book if anybody's interested.
If you've already got a copy of it, come and get it autographed. Absolutely. If you don't have a copy of it, then come on over, buy one, and he'll autograph it for you on the spot. What time's everything going to be happening?
They're actually coming to dine here at 5, but I'm asking Don to come down a little early in the afternoon and have some beers with me and sign the books for people that want to buy them, or if they have a copy, like you said, they could bring it down. And they get to meet him, and he's a great guy. And I hope you show up too, Ray. I'm
looking forward to it. I'm thinking about clearing the deck all day on Sunday. Spend the day at the beach, whether it's down in Tumon or on the eastern side of the island. Sounds like a whole lot of fun. Did you get any new hats over the weekend since the last time I was there?
I have $8,000 worth of Stetson and high quality hats.
Then you'll definitely be seeing me this weekend, because I noticed that the less hair I have, the more I'm attracted to hats. Is that normal for guys our age?
I don't know. I wear my bandana forever, so,
I gotcha.
I'm good.
Jeff from Pirates Cove, looking forward to seeing you over the weekend, and thanks for the fries last night. 888-8255. I don't know if we've got enough time, so I'm going to reserve the right to stop and start the session here with Senator Chris Duenas, because I wanted to get a sense of where we are on the bills that you guys are talking about now, in particular the pay raise legislation. The Guam Daily Post has an interesting side column that says 22% pay raise debate turns into merit bonuses, and I'm looking for a little bit more splains from John O'Connor on that, and I thought, well, never mind, I'll just ask Chris. What's going on now? What's the latest with the pay raise, and how did the meritorious bonuses sneak back in?
Sure, Ray. Maybe we'll just jump into the next hour with that. I'll use this time to also join my great colleague, Senator Chris Barnett, in just mourning the passing of a really excellent human being, Robert Camacho. Condolences to Pauline and the entire family. Chris couldn't have said it better. I mean, that guy was just, I call him a stalwart. I mean, he's one of those individuals who really is unfazed by political things that surround him. And I think many who knew him, much like yourself, for some reason he had this interesting characteristic, along with his seriousness and his great management skills. He had a great sense of humor, and he just had a really interesting and fun laugh. Robert, we're going to miss you.
Definitely, and I will miss him in a lot of different places. Like I said, the thing with Robert was, or Bob, I called him. He never passed up on the opportunity to explain what was going on in his world. I mean, it was always kind of good or bad over at the Department of Corrections, or even back in the olden days when I'd interview him when he was in charge of things over at the police department over at the airport. It's, you got a question, you pick up the phone. He'd never run or hide from anything, and he'd answer him to the best of his ability, and I like, as I said, his ability to take care of business over at the Department of Corrections. In past, sometimes you've had leaders over at the DOC. I'm sorry, that's confidential, that's personal, and we can't talk about this or we can't talk about that. And to the degree that he would let loose and let fly a little bit more about what was going on, certainly more than sometimes we get out of other agencies. I always certainly appreciated that. And he was a great photographer. I loved his pictures, and many people will remember him, if not from the Department of Corrections or Guam International Airport. You might have been a friend of his on Facebook and taking a look at all the great portraits that he took and sunset shots, and had a lot of love for getting out there with the other photographers. So while I anticipate hearing from many people in the government of Guam about Rob, I also think I'm going to hear from some of the photographing community about the great shots that he took and the great companion and friend he was to them.
It's a life cut too short, but boy, Robert sure lived it, and I think he deserved this honor. I hope you can understand. I'd like to have a more extensive conversation in the next hour. I just want to spend that time because, Bob deserves this kind of, memorial and discussion because he was a great man and he served well.
I got news coming up in a second or so. We'll hear from you next hour. Chris Duenas coming back with us on 93.3. This is The Point.
Bill Sarah, Fox News. Chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, appeared before a House panel to discuss the proposed budget for the next fiscal year.
The $842 billion budget is the largest in Pentagon history and includes the biggest request ever for Pacific deterrence, weapons procurement, research and development, and the largest space budget ever. It's a 3.2% increase over last year, which critics say does not account for inflation. General Milley warned China is moving down the path toward confrontation and potential conflict with its neighbors in the U.S. He said that deterring and preparing for war, quote, is extraordinarily expensive, but it's not as expensive as fighting a war.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. General Milley noted China remains America's biggest security challenge and that China intends to exceed the United States' overall military capability by 2049. Secretary of State Antony Blinken before a different House panel discussing his proposed budget.
The budget will help us push back on advancing authoritarianism and democratic backsliding by strengthening democracies around the world, including through supporting independent media, countering corruption, defending free and fair elections.
House Republicans argue the budget contains too much spending for so-called woke policies. TikTok CEO Shou Chew facing a grilling by lawmakers over security concerns about the China-owned app.
We have legacy U.S. data sitting in our servers in Virginia and in Singapore. We're deleting those, and we expect that to be complete this year. When that is done, all protected U.S. data will be under the protection of U.S. law.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have expressed concerns TikTok is gathering information about children and teens. North Korea's state news agency says it's tested a new nuclear underwater attack system as confirmed it fired cruise missiles during the weapons test and firing drill. America is listening to Fox News.
Since 1997, Island Eye Institute has been committed to your family's eye care needs. From its beginnings, Island Eye Institute has recognized the value in incorporating state-of-the-art technology into personalized care and a commitment to excellence. As Guam's complete eye center, our specialists offer their expertise in glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK, cataract, and diabetic eye disease. Island Eye accepts Select Care, Net Care, Take Care, and Stay Well. Call us at 637-2020 to schedule your appointment today. We're located on the second floor of the Baltesh Pavilion in Tamuning.
KFC's Lent menu is filled with so many seafood options, it's enough to keep you going for the entire Lenten season. They're all here. Popcorn shrimp, fish fillets, shrimp and crab Kilikun wraps, and our famous KFC shrimp burger. And now you can mix and match chicken and fish in both 6 and 12-piece family meals with sides and biscuits. KFC's Lent menu is available for a limited time at all KFC restaurants and for delivery at kfcguam.com or WhatsApp 300-3278. KFC, it's finger licking good for Lent.
A vote in North Dakota to make pronouns optional.
As the battle over gender plays out across the country, the North Dakota House of Representatives has passed a bill that would make it optional to refer to students and employees by any pronouns that don't reflect biological sex at public schools and state agencies. State Democrats say the bill is harmful and would tell some people that they have value and others that they don't. Some Republicans call it a common sense bill that would instill confidence in parents that their kids are safe at school without social distractions. The North Dakota Senate approved the bill last month. It now goes to Republican Governor Doug Burgum for his consideration. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The World Athletics Council, which governs track and field, has banned transgender athletes from international competition, adopting the same rules as swimming did last year in deciding to bar athletes who have transitioned from male to female and have gone through male puberty. World Athletics President Sebastian Coe says the updates for athletes with differences in sex development, such as Caster Semenya of South Africa, will now have to undergo hormone-suppressing treatment for 6 months before competing. A new report suggests Easter candy preferences vary by region.
2 out of 3 adults typically do celebrate Easter, according to an Instacart survey by the Harris Poll, which found of the more than 2,000 Americans questioned, 92% are planning on buying Easter candy. The favorite in 29 states, including the entire West Coast, Reese's peanut butter eggs. According to the e-grocer, however, a clustered majority of the Midwest and South have other preferences for Easter candies and flavors, suggesting where people live could have an effect on what they like. Other top favorites among seasonal candies sold by Instacart: Kinder chocolate candy eggs with a surprise toy inside, and Starburst Easter jelly beans.
Fox's Lillian Wu, I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
The new Subway series includes one of the most craveable sandwiches of them all, the Subway Club.
Number 12, the Turkey Cali Club is the best with avocado, turkey, and bacon.
The best should come with bacon, turkey, and ham. That's my number 10, the All-American Club.
Number 11, the Subway Club is a proven classic that comes with ham too, plus turkey and Angus roast beef.
I see. Let's start over. Let's talk cheese in the Subway series.
I'm still gonna win this. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, easy, and secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Donna DeJesus with a look at your local news on The Point. Superior Court Judge Maria Senzon has rejected a plea deal for serial child rapist Paul Mofnis Jr. He's a level 1 sex offender and stands accused in the 2019 rape and kidnapping of a 10-year-old girl. Prosecutors presented the plea deal in court yesterday. That would change Mofnis's prison term from life to 25 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years. This did not sit well with the judge. Senzon denied it, noting Mofnis's criminal past. He was convicted in 1999 for raping 4 teenage girls. Defense attorney Stephen Hattori argued that Mofnis has taken responsibility and knows he'll be spending a long time in prison. Mofnis will appear back in court to try to admit guilt in this case at a later date. Meanwhile, Noah Cepeda was sentenced to 6 years in prison for his part in a drive-by shooting in Tamuning. He appeared in Superior Court yesterday where Judge Arthur Barcinas ordered that Cepeda would only have to serve 3 of those years locked up with credit for the 2.5 years he's already spent at DOC. Cepeda and co-defendant John McCord Jr. were arrested on illegal weapons possession charges and aggravated assault following a random drive-by shooting in Tamuning in September of 2020. The victims were not harmed, but said in court that they no longer feel safe. Cepeda apologized for his actions, saying, "It was just the wrong crowd I was hanging out with. I was under the influence and was not myself." He will be placed on 6 years of probation after he gets out. McCord has since taken a plea deal and will be sentenced at a later date. More news after this.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nambo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nambo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nambo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
GWA is warning customers about individuals posing as utility employees and approaching people at their homes, falsely claiming that customer accounts are in arrears and threatening disconnection unless payment is made. A release states that GWA employees do not initiate or make phone calls to customers to request for immediate payments over the phone, nor threaten water service disconnection. GWA only issues payment reminders by mail, through automated phone calls or text message. GWA says it does not accept payments outside of official customer service locations, and customers should demand to see a GWA employee ID card. Residents can call customer service at 647-7800 to verify any suspicious activity or confirm their account status. Customers can also access their account information at paygwa.com or the GPWA mobile app. And GVB Vice President Jerry Perez gave the newly elected GVB Board of Directors the first tourism recovery update in a long time because the board only recently resumed its meetings. He says Guam's tourism recovery is still not going fast enough, and its main market of the Asia-Pacific region isn't expected to fully recover from pre-pandemic passenger volume until 2025. In his presentation yesterday, Perez said Korean arrivals are leading Guam's tourism recovery right now, along with arrivals from Hawaii, other parts of the U.S., and the Philippines. He adds that outbound from Japan is still 30 to 40% of pre-COVID levels, but adds that they're allowing more flights to leave, and Japan Airlines is going to start flying end of April through Golden Week. The board will continue its meeting this afternoon. And those were your top stories. Now back to Ray with weather.
All right, I'm trying to help out. I want to be part of the solution, not the problem, with this whole pay raise thing and the story that they tell that, my God, if we don't pay our employees in the government of Guam more money, they'll disappear to the private sector. They'll be more than happy to take a cut in pay to work for some of these private sector organizations that demand 80 hours of actual work during the week. No Sudoku for you. No Wordle. You got to work. I don't think that's actually the way it works. I think there's some positions for which, you want to hire the best and the brightest. And but anyway, so there's got to be a way that we can do this without throwing another $50 million a year at the budget that doesn't actually get anything done. So what I'm thinking is maybe we got to go back to some Jerry Roberts extra pointy kind of things about how to make your employees feel a little bit more comfortable in the workplace. And the couple that I've come up with so far, all right, was Casual Friday. Who doesn't love Casual Friday? Look at me. Everybody should be able to. Never mind, the heavy, expensive, most expensive part of Macy's clothes.
Perks.
Yeah, just go in there and just look. Come on in with the Bahaki Friday. Let's make a Bahaki Friday in the office, right? Or how about this? I guarantee we do something like this. People will give salary back to the government of Guam if we do this. Is bring your blank to work day. Bring your blank to work day. Would you not love it if I all of a sudden, it's never going to happen, but wouldn't you love it if I said, hey, Donna, why don't you bring your favorite pet to the
Oh, yeah.
office. Donna's like,
my
no
brown
way.
tree snake.
Bring your brown tree snake to work. What's that, Donna?
No way. I'm going to be spending most of the time taking care of it. No way.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, there's people. You used to have a girl that worked here, and actually, I had two girls that worked here. So one that had a dog that was just the most well-trained dog I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just a little kind of a teacuppy kind of dog, but it was one you just kind of put there, and she said, "Stay." And the dog stayed. It just I'm going to take a spot here, and I'm just going to stay. Had another one that had a dog that was just kind of a mutt, and that's what turned into the reason why I have a no pets policy here at the radio station. But it just seems to me that there's an answer to this problem that doesn't include spending millions and millions of dollars that I'm not sure we're going to have down the road on trying to make it so that everybody in the government of Guam stays there for the rest of their lives and never goes to work anywhere else. 8:13 in the morning. Is that Chris Duenas?
No, it's Cazendo.
No way. Oh,
way.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So let me get to him before we get to the weather and the Chris Duenas-y stuff. All right.
Oh, he's way better than weather.
8:13. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Is my very close friend here, cigar smoking and bourbon drinking buddy, Cazendo. Good morning, sir.
Hey, up day. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. And I was going to say, enjoy your weekend, but I know as a member of the Rotary Club of Guam, Rotarian period, there's a major Rotary event that is coming up this weekend, and I've been a part of it in the past, and I'm glad to see that when it was under threat of being ignored by one of the primary sponsors, Rotary Club came in and rescued what we've always called, my dad and I have always called, the Rotary Club Spelling Bee. The Scripps Howard Spelling Bee is going to take place this weekend.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's here.
I know it.
How do you spell tomorrow?
I start.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, it's been a food crazy week for Rotary. We had all the folks from Japan visiting, Pacific Basin Group, 50th anniversary and all, golf tournaments, dinner galas, the whole bit, and now we end the week with the spelling bee.
Crazy about it. Now, the Pacific Basin Group, I didn't realize it was 50 years.
Yeah, those guys are old.
When I was first a member of the Rotary Club of Guam, I was one of the youngest, and I've attended recently a couple of meetings, and I would have sat. I would be perfectly in the right now to sit at, and I did, the old man's table.
Yeah, those are great. And if you don't know much about the Rotary Club, there's a lot of different clubs that go under Rotary. I happen to belong on the Rotary Club of Guam, the parent club for the island. It's a great club to join, especially whether you're in business or not. There's a lot of mentorship. There's a lot of community things we do. Our slogan is service above self. And it's a great way to humble yourself, kind of put a check in the dark, because you see a lot of very prominent businessmen who you can put a, wet rag or throw a dinner roll at, and they won't get mad at you.
You're giving up some inside secrets here. Everybody thinks that this is, it's about work. Go there. It's another kind of a work here with the businessmen getting together and harumph for rumph. But there are some moments. Of frivolity. And one of the big work deals this weekend again is going to be the Rotary Club Spelling Bee, going to be taking place over at the Hyatt. And I know about 64 contestants coming in from the different schools around the region.
Yeah, that's my understanding. 64 students or so, 20 of them coming out of CNMI and Pohnpei. So it's a regional contest, and so that's Scripps has opened it up for regional players in the U.S. And you got to be no more than 14 years old. You can't be older than that, and I think you can't be past 8th grade. And so it's a celebration of academics, but also I think it started back in 1925 or so. So it's had its numbers of years of iteration. I think COVID was the only year that they had to delay. They had this thing going even during the Great Depression. So
the winter, was an airplane ride, and you get to Washington, D.C., and at the time you were treated to the National Scripps Howard Spelling Bee, hosted by Alex Trebek. So, this was never a small deal on any scale, and I was very worried that there was going to be an issue with it this year when PDN found themselves unable to be able to see it through, and I'm glad. I don't know whether you guys got it from me or whether somebody else in the club said, no, we can't let this stand. This is the Rotary Club spelling bee, not the PDN spelling bee. So it's going to happen one way or the other. So I'm glad that you guys were able to get that going. Cos, don't have a lot of time here, so I'm going to say thanks very much for your input. You have a great day.
Okay, you too. Have a good one, and, Viva Guam.
All right. Anybody that you're going to be, just one last thing, but is there anybody, I was thinking about your podcast, who's your latest guest and who's the next guest?
Well, I've got a couple of guys, but I think the one I'm excited about talking to is Lurky. He's the co-owner and proprietor of Opaque. So I'll have him up on soon. Wow. And, we'll be talking because he's grown his business leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. And despite COVID, he's just on another level. So I've got that and a few more. But I've got a few people in the can that I need to put out. I've got Miguel Badalio from GWA on there. It should be good. Season 3 coming out soon.
All right, looking forward to that. And maybe one of these days I'll get you in the studio and we'll just talk about what's interesting that's going on here on Guam, what's happening in the private sector that most people might not be hearing about, what are interesting developments that are taking place with kind of behind the scenes stuff. You're pretty good at knowing what other people don't know, so maybe we can break some bread, have some beers in here in the studio.
Yeah, what's going to be interesting to see is the Donki effect when they finally do open. We'll see how that sort of permeates itself. Yeah, the Don Donki.
I've been to Don Donkeys around the region and have always found them to be chock full of tourists. So this donkey village thing and Gita's suggestion now that maybe we're not going to give them everything that we'd give to, say, a new hotel or something like that, or a new big tourist attraction, but I think they're going to get an abatement on property taxes. I wonder if that's going to change as it gets to the governor's office, and she's completely capable of making those decisions on her own. We'll talk more 8:19. Cozendo on the radio. Quick look at weather very, very quickly. It's going to be nice today. Mostly sunny in the forecast. Highs near 87 degrees. Heat index going to feel like 94 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight after the sun sets about 6:30. True. We got mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow and partly sunny on Friday, but fingers crossed that the guys over at the National Weather Service, after the success of their first open house day, will say, no, let's make it mostly sunny until next Friday. What do you say? That's what I'm thinking. 8:19. Chris Duenas next.
After a long wait, the biggest, juiciest, most flavorful chicken makes its return. The Circle K 3-pound rotisserie chicken is back. Get 3 whole pounds of perfectly seasoned chicken for all your family feasts. And for a limited time, pick up a rotisserie chicken and a Pepsi Family 2-liter soda, the perfect dinner combo, for only $19.95. Available at select Circle K stores. Swing by and take yours home today. Circle K, take it easy.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL. American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Oh, just absolutely screaming through this Friday morning here. Not a dull moment, at least as far as I'm concerned. Great news with Donna and Real Joe's in there, getting everybody I need to talk to either on the phone or back on the phone, including Senator Chris Duenas from the 37th Guam Legislature. Quite a lot going on, and I don't have the time, and really, honestly, I'll say it sometimes, the inclination to watch the sausage getting made over at the legislature, and it seems to me that I'm going to hear about the same thing from all the people that are coming in when it's a committee on the whole, from the governor's office and places like that, where we gotta have this, and you can kind of feel that full court press. But there are people over at the legislature that seem to be moving things along, trying to get past what the regular narrative is, and find out if there are other ways that we can continue to fairly compensate the hardworking men and women in the government of Guam without shining the shoes too much of the six-figure plus club and taking too much off the backs of the taxpayers. Chris Duenas is my go-to for that. Welcome back to the show.
Off the day, Ray, Donna, Real Joe team. There's you started in the last hour by saying, the Post article, why did this kind of take a left turn? And the reason why is there's a cumulative issue along with that $6 million in merit bonuses that are due. So I kind of took the Bob Kutsky Tall Tales advice of making your case when you're putting the argument on the floor. So I did that with education in terms of the over $30-some million that were stolen out of ARP money, and the reason why we needed to appropriate that money. And the schools definitely need the money, and they don't have enough money to do what they're doing other than what the governor and others are saying. They need that money desperately. So basically, I started with that when I was asking the question of Ed Byrne yesterday. So I'm putting the $21 million that the governor signed the bill, which she should do the right thing, as the first number. The second number is these merit bonuses that are outstanding. There's no way of getting around that. That's a liability, and you'd be inviting a lawsuit if you didn't pay that. So we've got to consider the fact that that's a current liability. Another $6 million, that's surprise. So this total now for a year on these raises is $54 million and counting. Because what happened was they didn't include the benefits portion of the pay raise. So the pay raise is $21 million, but also to commensurate when you pay base pay like that. There's the benefit factor.
Right. We got to kick more into retirement.
So that's an extra $6 million. And Ed Byrne says for the current year, the agencies should absorb that. And I said no, because what happens is when the agencies absorb that, it becomes this constant reoccurrence where we have money in agencies for one thing and one thing only: salaries and benefits. Meaning what suffers? Operations,
right.
The ability to buy supplies, the abilities to cut the grass, the abilities to fix buildings, the ability to do all that stuff. Operations goes out the window. So I said, that is the wrong approach on its face. If you're going to pay, you pay the salary, you pay the benefits, and you don't take it out of their current budget year. That's $6 million that should be going into our community, providing services for our people, making sure that these agencies have supplies and equipment and the things they need to do, that the taxpayers pay for the service. The last thing is, Ray, and they for some reason they stubbornly don't want to admit this, but they always put it, their answer to the question every time with these burgeoning general fund revenues is they never want us, and in fact we got the report a day late in this round, maybe by coincidence, but there's $9 million shortage in special funds. $5 million of that is education. And so the thing is that, to me, if you come down to the legislature and you say that, don't worry about that, don't look over there, look over here, because there's so much additional revenue in general fund. And anyways, special funds always get covered by general fund revenues if they're short.
Right.
Well, then to me, Ray, you have to count that as a liability. If you're doing a budget, and there's a lot of bragging about balance. We've had balanced budgets. Well, if you're doing a balanced budget, you have to accept these liabilities. I'm sure you as a businessman do that. I mean, even if you have...
Oh, I accept them. I don't like paying them.
Oh, of course, none of us do.
Everybody else.
What I do, I think I'm a month behind on the trash bill. I'm gonna run up there and take care of that after this call before I go to work.
Yeah, you better, so they can buy. Apparently, we've only got the 8 working machines right now, and 3 of them don't work, as they say, reliably. They have not yet made a decision. Totally separate subject. GSWA apparently has not made a decision yet on whether they're going to go to a bi-weekly trash pickup system. To which I say, that's fine with me. I'm a bachelor. I don't generate that much trash, but I don't want to have to pay for weekly service if I'm only getting it every 2 weeks.
I hear you. So the grand total on all of this liability is magically $45 million, which is exactly what the surplus is. And there's no pay raises. Well, I guess I got to take that back. There's $6 million in here for the benefit. So there's Houston. We have a problem on this one, and the thing is that this is exactly why I keep saying that, especially something along this lines with this kind of a number, you should do in the budget. I believe the history on the other pay raises that keep getting discussed. I think the first one was about 4%. I forget the other one, and in terms of the total aggregate, the other one was somewhere about maybe 8 or 10. So it's not even in the ballpark, Ray, in terms of what we're talking about here. I mean, just absorb that for a minute. $54 million in one budget year. You know what? Coincidentally.
But we're so flush with cash. We've got so much money, and all of the we've got all this business privilege tax money that's coming in, and the withholding taxes are crazy, going nuts out there, and plus the Section 30 money is also through the roof. So there's never ever been a better time to get into this. I'll take you back to December of 2019, where we had record-breaking numbers coming out of Japan and Korea, visitor numbers, and then all of a sudden it went within a quarter of the year after that down to zero, and those weren't such good times. And I think we're making bets for which we have no hedge.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and for some reason, I once again, I want to float a conspiracy theory, but it seems like this magic number between 55 and 60 million always shows up for some sort of expenditure. And why do you think that is?
Don't know.
Well, we're constantly told, you got to find me a funding source if you're going to reduce that BPT from 5 to 4. So if she can spend the money faster, then we can show that she's taking it in, and we've got this excess revenue.
Then you'll never be able to get you'll never be able to get to 4.
Now, when did that happen before? What other circumstance at a midnight session did that happen before?
Remind me.
The attachment GMH.
Okay. Ancient history for listeners. This goes back to the first time that Chris Duenas was a senator in the legislature. Just wanted to straighten out some language on bingo, basically, and then that turned into, well, let's find a way to use all of the revenues that we might be able to get off of gambling to pay all of the bills over at Guam Memorial Hospital. Here's a list of all the bills, and when these bills are paid, then we will eliminate all of the gambling. Money that we're going to be getting, any gambling revenue. Of course, the bills, the attachment did not follow along with the measure, and it was signed into law, and there was no Exhibit A, which meant that there was no sunset provision for when we would close the loophole on the gambling and when we would unlicense machines and when there would not be game rooms in your village anymore.
So if this bill passes and the money still creeps up over what's being collected in all this anticipation of additional revenues, we'll just find something else to spend it on.
Exactly.
Instead of reducing the BBT. This is why I'm glad the Chamber of Commerce, and I want to make an announcement here. I'm sorry that many of us, because the Chamber did forward the information, but that wage study and that disparate wage issue that I've talked about in the PDN today, that did not come from the Chamber of Commerce. They took that off of Department of Labor's website. That is a government-generated document. And right now, the average pay for a government employee hourly wage is $34.50. And if this bill passes, we'll go up to $45.75, I believe. And I compared that to I went to the lowest range, which created the Gulf.
$20 weekly for $20 an hour for most private sector workers. I did the same riff on the radio. Now, what's going to happen is somebody from DOL is going to come through and say, well, it's kind of an apples orange comparison because we cannot bifurcate, we cannot separate out in these reports who is a salaried employee, who's hourly, who's management, and et cetera. On the public sector side. So it looks like it's a bigger number, but it isn't really. That's what they've always said about that discrepancy.
But that's the same argument that Vern tried to give me was, you're using numbers that we can tell you we can already cover in our current year budget through lapses and the like. And I said, no, this is on a cost basis. What is it going to cost? So when you look at those wages and you look at those benefits, that cost the people of Guam that amount of money. So you can't there's no other way around it because government doesn't generate any revenue. Government takes money from taxpayers. So that's a cost to the people of Guam when you put that straight in front of your face. If you're a business, you know, you can say my salaries and wages for my employees are this. If I'm the president and I make big bucks, I don't have to put myself in if I don't want to.
No, I agree. There's nothing wrong with adding up all of the figures and saying this is what it costs you an hour per employee in the government of Guam to get the services that you get. And at the end of the day, at $35 a head per hour, are you happy with the services that you have? Are the roads to your liking? Is the hospital to your liking? Are the schools to your liking? Are you satisfied with the nature of our parks and recreations?
Absolutely. And so that's why, you know, I'll go back to the boss of the shop, right? There's times when boss of the shop doesn't even take a paycheck. And then there's times when things are really good and they go ahead and say, I'm going to make up for that. So they don't, you know, management doesn't have to factor themselves into the scheme because they do it on a cost basis. That's the way businesses are run. So when you do this in the scheme of the government, everything is a cost because the taxpayer pays everything.
That's right. And it's not something that you've actually had to work harder to get. You just sprinkle some government fairy dust over it, and then it happens. 8:33 in the morning. Where are we going today? I mean, I talked with Chris Barnett over at just a few minutes ago, and he says unlikely procedurally to go after an override of the governor's vetoes of Bill 12 and 13, but it's got to happen soon. Is that something that can happen as you gavel in for the next regular session of the legislature?
I completely expect that to happen, and I'm sure the speaker is going to move for that. I know that the good news is that that was an agenda item that was placed on the agenda because we hadn't even received the veto yet. We pretty much figured it would happen, but we hadn't received the veto yet. But procedurally, the speaker moved during our rules meeting that we would also include items that may be an impending veto for consideration of an override. So that's already been announced.
Okay.
I believe when the session agenda is finalized before we get in there on Monday, that normally those items are at the top of the agenda. The mover of the author of those items can choose any time during session, during motions, to move for that. So, you know, I think, hopefully you can really pray upon the senators to see the wisdom. You know, those who might want to be a little afraid of downtown, you know what I mean, that the people of Guam are way more important here. And hopefully you can be an influencer, like they call you, Ray, because you are.
I merely report on the people that influenced me. Lee Weber the other day, Robert Underwood, writing in his Put Favot column, the fourth branch of government, and he spells it out as well or as better than anybody else can. Most of these admirals were glad-handers and didn't draw any red lines. Instead, they smiled while they outlined fuzzy lines about what they couldn't do and what they were willing to do. All made a commitment to return land. Nicholson's pronouncements about the availability of excess lands, the responsibility over the disposal of ordnance, and building the hospital all have clear red lines. If clarity is his intent, then he has succeeded. If building support and understanding is his purpose, he has failed miserably. This coming from somebody who spent some time on the Armed Services Committee and knows a little thing or two about what he's talking about. So now imagine this in this world here where, as far as the issue is concerned, Lee Weber and Robert Underwood virtually on the same page here. And so we're going to watch it and see what happens with all the rest of this. Chris, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Uncle Robert is well-heeled and retired and not relying on the governor for a job because he'd be in trouble right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, can you imagine? To the woodshed with you. Come on now. You better watch your step, Underwood, or I'm going to make you the president of the university again.
Take care, Ray.
You know, at 836-888-8255. One other comment on the entire subject here. And thank you very much, Senator Joanne Brown, who, among those, and I don't know where this story comes from, one of the TV stations, who asked if we can really afford it. The government is flush with cash now because of the billions in federal pandemic assistance. But can all the spending commitments be justified? She says, this is unprecedented. Not so much about this pay increase, the increases that have been added over the last several years. It's unprecedented at this level. Not talking about a few $1 million here. We're talking 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 million adding on as if it's nothing. This is play money here over at the legislature and in the government of Guam. As like if you don't do it, then you're going to face the wrath of the voting bloc that is the government of Guam. Maybe there's a way to do this, and that is find a way to make it very clear. These increases, however they come out, are they are based on the government of Guam's ability to make money. So if everything is good now, or as they say, if it's hunky dory now, then great, we'll go ahead and pay you what we can based on, what we decide over at the legislature. But when it gets bad, when we realize that the Japanese market may never come back to the kind of numbers that it did before, when we realize that certain commitments that have been made in Washington, D.C. can quickly be unmade, and all of a sudden we're not flush with cash, then we're going to need to take this back. We're going to need to, we'll let you know in plenty of time, but we're going to have to do a raise. We're going to have to take the raise back and give you what you were making when we thought the times were good. I don't know that kind of thing can ever happen in the government. I think there are overtures being made in the CNMI. Maybe we got some time to find Cousin Troy and talk about that. We'll return with big news and headlines with Donna D and a quick look at what's going on with celebrity birthdays on the other side of these important messages.
It's March Madness month on GTA. That means big discounts and awesome giveaways. Come into GTA today and get the all-new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra with a 200-megapixel camera and advanced nighttography. Your selfies will look amazing day or night. Purchase a Samsung Galaxy S23 series smartphone and get on our best unlimited plan for as low as $65 a month. Plus get a free $200 Payless gift card when you open a new line. Terms and conditions apply. Offer good while supplies last. Smartphone month at GTA. We start with you.
And you thought you knew everything there is about bottom fish and bottom fishing. Come to the Fishers Forum to learn about bottom fish in the Marianas. Thursday, March 30th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Guam Museum. Enjoy info tables, presentations, demos, and more. The forum is part of the Western Pacific Fisheries Management Council's 194th meeting, March 30th and 31st at the Guam Hilton Resort. Call 483-1904 or visit wpcouncil.org for more info. Bring the family. It's free.
One of my favorite musicians of all time is celebrating a birthday today. Or, well, not today. Over the weekend. And you'll find out who it is.
No.
No, we're not going to. What? I want to make sure everybody listens to your last newscast of the week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want them to just jump out and go, oh, never mind. Donna D with her last big look at news and headlines for the, third week of Mess Tomorrow. How we do?
Police are asking the public to help identify the man who robbed the Winster 2 game room on Route 16 in Dedido on Tuesday. Police say the man used a handgun in the robbery and fled the scene with a large amount of cash on foot into a residential area. The robber is between 5'6" and 5'8" in height and weighs between 145 and 165 pounds. Anyone with information can call police at 475-8615. And the monthly report that tracks tax collections states that GovGuam's general fund revenues are still tracking higher than projected. The question of affordability was raised in regard to the 22% pay raise bill. The Budget Bureau's latest expenditure report shows tax collections in February were tracking $45 million over projections. A continued slowdown in collections could alter spending trends going forward. And hotels and restaurants got to connect with small businesses and local farmers yesterday. The main idea behind the high market product display was to promote a farm-to-table operation so hotels and restaurants serve and source their ingredients from local businesses and farmers. Local farmers will be able to sustain operations knowing they have a steady stream of customers. About 90% of what people on Guam eat is still sourced from the U.S. and other locations. And that was your last look at local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
Hey, Real Joe, do me a favor. See if you can Google something up for me.
What do you need?
Over the weekend.
Is this the candy? Oh.
No, I'm not doing a candy.
Oh.
No, I want to find something important. Lee Weber probably knows off the top of his head. But I'm wondering, it's Medal of Honor Day on tomorrow. Yeah, Medal of Honor Day tomorrow. And I'm wondering off the top of my head, do we have any Guamanian soldiers that have ever gotten the Medal of Honor? in any of the battles. There's a number of them of soldiers, Marines, et cetera, have been killed on Guam when they had the Battle of Guam that received the Medal of Honor. But what about, I'm wondering about other veterans, other folks from around here that might have got that. So see if you can do it. Just Guamanian Medal of Honor recipient or Medal of Honor recipients by state. Maybe that will get you close to it. It's 8:42 in the morning. Donna D is here in the studio. We got time for some celebrity birthdays. Are you ready? You got to turn your microphone on.
Okay.
So people can hear the spontaneous reactions that they've come to love in this section of the program. All right. Celebrities include fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, wasn't there a controversy before?
It probably is. There's controversy about everybody these days. Whatever. It's probably true. Anyway, 72 years old, and we still have the store in GPO, right?
Yeah.
The Hilfiger store?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I haven't shopped there. I haven't gone in there since the COVID. You know why? Because I've already got a whole bunch of Tommy clothes from before COVID that I'm desperate to fit back into again. So I don't want to buy any new stuff if I'm just if I've got the clothes already in the closet. Who's there on the phone?
It's the Medal of Cousin winner.
Who?
Doc McNitch.
Oh. Okay, but let me get through.
He said he knows about the Medal of Honor people.
Okay, so hold on a second, Doc. I'll get to you. The Undertaker is 58 years old.
Oh, you mean the wrestler, don't you?
The wrestler Undertaker is 58 years old. Robert Carradine, I think one of the youngest of the Carradine boys, is 69 years old today. Lara Flynn Boyle is 53. Peyton Manning, happy 47th birthday to you. If you're looking for something to celebrate today, it's Cheese Steak Day and Cocktail Day. Now I don't know if it's cocktail cocktails or if it's Cocktail the movie. Are we celebrating and remembering the great Tom Cruise classic that is
both.
Cocktail? Maybe both. You're absolutely right. Other celebrity was over the weekend. Michael Glazier from Starsky and Hutch is 80 years old today.
Oh, wow.
I think many of us will all remember that. Catherine McPhee from American Idol, happy 39th birthday. Jessica Parker, that is Sarah Jessica Parker, is 68 years
Matthew
old.
Broderick's wife.
Is it?
Yeah.
I had no idea. It was his birthday the other day. How about that?
That's why I brought it up.
Okay, and Elton John, Sir Elton John, the Queen of Rock, is 76 years old. What was the name of that movie? Rocket Man, which I thought was a terrific movie. And I've been a fan of Elton John since all the way, and there's many of his songs. I don't know so much about the newer stuff, and it seems like
You're not going to come out right now, are you?
No.
Okay.
I'm
just checking.
Say that. I did look. When I first heard, I didn't know what gay was when I first heard Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. All of I had no idea what the whole concept of homosexuality was the last thing I ever heard of. I must have been, I don't know, 15, 16 years old before I said, well, he's gay, right? I said, yeah, man. No. What does that mean?
Not Barry Manilow.
Yes.
I love Barry Manilow.
Can't be. Sarah, what did I say? Sarah Jessica Parker. Who else? If you're looking for something else to celebrate, Brothers and Sisters Days. And among my favorite first playmates in the world were my brothers and sister, Big Sister Shelly, in fact. So happy Brothers and Sisters Day. International Waffle Day. I'm not big on waffles, but I will eat them with fried chicken and honey. And Medal of Honor Day. And as I said, a number of guys that have gotten the Medal of Honor from battles that they fought here on Guam. But what about Guamanians that have got that have been recipients of the Medal of Honor? Dr. Ron McNitch joining the conversation now. Are you aware of any, Doc?
Well, I know of submissions that have been made for requests, and I think that at least from what I understand, during Vietnam, we had at least one very good candidate who should have been reconsidered for the Medal of Honor for his actions in Vietnam. And I think he got the Distinguished Service Cross, which is the medal right below that. But during World War II on Guam, 4 Marines were given earned the Medal of Honor. 2 right at Adelup, right by the governor's office area.
Oh, wow.
when they cleared that place out. And one of them was later the Commandant of the Marine Corps. And in addition to that, there was one Army Air Corps airman who earned the Medal of Honor for actions over Japan, and he was awarded in this hospital bed here because they thought he was about to die. They went to Bishop Museum and broke the Medal of Honor case open at the museum to pull out the only medal in the area to bring to him before he died. He eventually ended up living. But there was one airman who was personally awarded the Medal of Honor here during World War II.
That is amazing stories of heroism, and as we get closer and closer to July, I hope we get a chance to retell those stories. EWO veterans on Guam right now, and many of them I think were here before they went there, if I've got the numbers right. At any rate, we got EWO vets that are here on Guam. If you'd like an opportunity to meet with them, I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to shake your hand and grab a picture or a selfie at Pirates Cove on Sunday evening. The 4 Medal of Honor recipients that you refer to here: Captain Later General Lewis H. Wilson of the United States Marine Corps, Private First Class Leonard F. Mason of the USMC. He received his posthumously. Private First Class, later on Corporal Luther Skaggs Jr. of the Marine Corps won the received the Medal of Honor. And Private First Class Frank Witek from the USMC received his Medal of Honor posthumously. I wonder if don't we have a Camp Witek here?
Yeah, that's probably connected.
It's got to be. Yeah. Well, that's deep in the Marine way. Yeah. We like to name things after dead Marines. If you've ever watched the Green Beret, you know what I'm talking about. Interesting conversation there. Doc, I appreciate your time. We'll get together a little bit later on in the show.
Also, thousands of Bronze Stars, hundreds of Silver Stars, and Navy Crosses right here on Guam were earned. This is a field of honor as an island.
And there are many people that have been worried about that and saying, well, gee, what's going to happen when the Marines come? This is going to be like them coming to church with the way that they look at and recognize the sacrifices that almost 2,000 Marines made to liberate Guam on July the 21st of 1944.
Very good. Great show, Ray.
Thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Might have an excuse to call up and let me know what it is that you're thinking about these days. All right, 8:48, last day, because it only did Friday and Saturday's worth of celebrity birthdays. But there's just a couple more that I like. Alan Arkin from Little Miss Sunshine. Remember the grandfather in Little...
Alan Arkin.
Yeah. He's 89 years old.
Yeah.
Protect that man. Keep him alive. Diana Ross is 79 years old.
Yeah.
I liked Diana. I liked her a lot until I found out what a diva she was. And I'm like, she used to have these contract writers, performance writers in her contracts that said, when I'm in the hotel, no one may look directly at me or address me by name.
Wow.
Yeah. You talk to my handlers. You talk to my people. You don't talk to me. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith is 75 years old. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, known for...
drugs.
No.
Oh, lips.
They stopped doing that. No,
He's got a long
also,
tongue.
also the lips.
No, he doesn't have a long tongue.
What's the name of his daughter? His daughter.
Liv
Tyler.
Yeah.
There we go. But it's not really his daughter, right? That is his daughter. No, wasn't that...
yeah, same lips, Ray.
Can't play these games anymore. Can we still be friends? That's his daughter. Isn't that his daughter? Todd Rundgren. Isn't that Todd Rundgren's daughter?
No.
Raised by Steven Tyler?
What? No way.
And wolves?
Come on.
Yeah. Look it up. Somebody look it up.
She was raised by wolves.
I don't know how far off I am.
She was told that whoever her dad was back then, she was told that was her dad. Later finding out that it was Steven Tyler who was actually her dad.
The real dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so she was raised by Todd Rundgren was said to be her dad, but her real dad, after they did the what do you call it, genealogy plus things, after they did the DNA test. Okay, all right. So it's not the first time I've been wrong, and I don't care. Singer-actor Vicki Lawrence from Mama's Family and the Carol Burnett Show is 74 years old. Impossible. Remember the night the lights went out in Georgia? Her story. Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing. Don't put baby in a corner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she got a nose job and she looks totally different.
No.
Yeah.
Prettier?
Well,
I always thought she was kind of cute. Yeah. Anyway, 63 years old. And one of my favorite actresses, you'll put her down for Boston Strangler and Pirates of the Caribbean, but she was in a movie called Starting Over Again. Keira Knightley is 38 years old.
Do you remember her in Bend It Like Beckham?
I don't remember her in that movie.
She was really young.
I know it's a soccer movie. I think I've seen the first couple of minutes of it. Yeah, Beckham's the name of it, but I don't know. I'll see if I can dig out some of those songs and suggest that you add that, if for no other reason, just because they're good songs, to your Spotify playlist over the weekend. Legal Assistance Day, make up your own holiday day, Nougat Day, Spinach Day, Purple Day, and Solitude Day. I like that. All right, Donna likes that. Okay, well, I'm going to let you get to your solitude. It's 8:51 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Quick break, and then back onto the phones as we go.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
The new Subway series includes one of the most craveable sandwiches of them all, the Subway Club.
Number 12, the Turkey Cali Club is the best with avocado, turkey, and bacon.
The best should come with bacon, turkey, and ham. That's my number 10, the All-American Club.
Number 11, the Subway Club is a proven classic that comes with ham too, plus turkey and Angus roast beef.
I see. Let's start over. Let's talk cheese in the Subway series.
I'm still gonna win this. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Studio time, 852-8888 TALK. 797, if you got some memes that you want to share with me, by all means, get those things in there. Oh, she was in Star Wars, Episode 1. I didn't know that. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Aftermath. Let me see here. The Pride and Prejudice. Wait a second, I got to show more because it's not one of those things that there it is. Begin Again came out in 2013. A wonderful story in there about kind of a washed-out music producer that meets up with her. She's in a relationship with a singer, doesn't really appreciate her, having an affair on her, and there is some relationship tension in there between her and the washed-out guy. But in between is the music, and one of the ways that he finds to infuse inspiration back into his life by taking her music and producing it literally on the streets of the city. So you've got all this ambience and noise, and you got surprise characters in there. Great show about redemption, if you will. If you get a chance, it's probably on Netflix or Hulu or something like that. It's 8:53 in the morning. Who's on the phone?
Cousin Troy.
Oh my God! I've been waiting to hear from this guy since forever. Forever.
Covenant Day.
Wait. What's that?
Happy Covenant Day. Covenant Day in CNMI.
Is that where you are right now? Because this sounds like a long distance call.
No, sorry, I'm shaving in the bathroom.
Roger that. So I didn't realize that there were two kinds of gays in the world until you actually posted on Facebook the kind that you are. You're the petty one, is that what you said?
I'm petty gay. I'm petty Care Bear, yeah.
Petty Care Bear. Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I'm just learning the terms now. I'm still trying to understand the different colors of the flag. But anyways, do you have your own color? Is there a petty gay color on the gay pride flag?
I'll make it now. It's yellow.
So the reason why, and you have to explain to the listeners that might not be following you on Facebook, there's one or two that haven't discovered you yet. It comes from the gym, correct?
Yeah. So you know, there might be this going theory that all gay guys stare at all the straight guys at the gym, but untrue. For the petty among us, we stare at ourselves. And on the occasion that we do look over at the guy with the abs, we are not looking over to fawn. We are looking over to wish them all the fat in the world and that they trick in the gym.
I hope you get fat.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Because I appreciate the tolerance in both directions. If for no other reason, the incredible familial sense of humor that we share. Studio time, 8:55 in the morning, and I also got to say thank you very much for enlightening me and asking on behalf of everybody else in the community for another look at the folks that are going through the magistrate process at the courthouse, who are being released by what sound like a couple of renegade. We don't like Doug Moylan any more than Peter Santos likes him, and Steve Vittori, because they had commented a lot on your Facebook page, but it looks like there's a couple of guys over there that are saying, yeah, I know we got a new attorney general. I don't have to pay any attention to him. I don't have to listen to the victims. I don't have to know how many times this perp has been in front of me before. They all look the same to me, and I don't have to deal with Doug's desire for cash bails as opposed to personal recognizance. And as a result of all of this revolving door, we got people that are exiting the courthouse, going right back into committing crimes in this community. And I appreciate you asking for that data dump from the Attorney General's office. Can you do that like every month?
Yeah, and the reason we did it was because we noticed all the time, but it was becoming more and more where we were able to, Danielle Bonza, who does it for us over at Candid, she's able to not wait for the mugshots to come out from DOC because she sees a repeat name, and we're seeing that more often. We're able to go back into the files and be like, all right, there's his mugshot.
Yeah.
Match it to the birthday. We're good to go. That's the same guy or the same girl. And I think what's alarming about this latest report is the new cases, the two people who picked up new cases, are for the same thing, and it's driving while intoxicated, allegedly, right? And so, we might think of that as a small crime compared to, other things, but I mean, it's just one swerve, 1 mile closer, one mile per hour closer, one accident closer to it being a vehicular homicide. And so, I think
just the damage to public property, the damage to private property, all of those kinds of things that many people might not hear about. You just hear, DUI this, DUI that. But in a lot of cases, there are damage to public property. I mean, how many guardrails do we need to show as evidence that we've got a problem with these people being released without any kind of a nod to some sort of treatment or forcing them into treatment?
Yeah, so obviously, there's a drinking problem or a drug problem or something that is, and you make the awful decision of getting behind the wheel while you're intoxicated, and you get caught once, and then no one realized, or the justice system, not for, a lack of effort on the AG's part, but I guess when it gets to the court side, it says, it's okay, this is just this, you can go, and then you do it again.
Well, that's because those guys got drivers, and their cars are probably behind gates at night, and they got cars, they're behind gates during the day and all of this stuff. I don't know that they live in the same world that we do. I don't know, and maybe there ought to be more. Maybe there ought to be more victims of crimes around here that are brought to the courthouse.
And that's what the AG was saying, and I'm glad that the AG did that. I'm glad that the AG said, this is the real world that we live in. And in the real world, it's not the percentages that matter. It's the numbers. It's the actual crime. And it's the crime victim. And we want to bring those crime victims into the courtroom so the judges can see them, can look them in the eye. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that he said that because I think there is a reality check that needs to happen in the community.
Absolutely. Here, live in the village with the rest of us. Come down from your mighty mansions up in the sky and come out in the village and live with us. Go to the village stores. Go find the mom and pop places and take a look at all the sketch people that are running around there. Take your eyes off whatever it is that you're reading while your driver's getting you to work here today, because we've got some serious problems that you guys are not seeing, and I think there needs to be a more serious view of it at the legislature. We're going to be late for Fox News, I'll tell you that right now. Another story on front page of the Candid website here is a story not from here but from the CNMI, where they are attacking their revenue issues in a completely different way. Employees in the government of the CNMI are facing pay cuts, and at least one senator says, if we're going to cut your pay, I'm cutting mine as well.
Yeah, and that's Senator Selena Roberto Babalta, friend of the Marianas. She's a freshman senator, and she decided, to be inclusive here, this follows what the governor and lieutenant governor over there and their whole cabinet have done, and that is to take a 10% pay cut along with the rank and file employees that they're putting that sacrifice on. And so Senator Babalta, because no one in the legislature had followed suit, she led the way, and she's like, all right, I'm going to take a 10% cut as well in solidarity with these employees. And then we found out, because we sent an email to all of the senators there, they're 9 members of the Senate, are you guys going to do the same thing she did? And Senator Paul Manglotnia from Rota, he wrote back and said, matter of fact, I don't take a paycheck. So he's a retired public servant. He's not double dipping. He's taking his retirement income, which comes from the retirement fund and not the general fund. And so basically, this guy could be retired doing nothing. He's retired working for the Commonwealth for free. And so that was another example. And then there's Tina Sablan, the one who ran for governor, and then when she lost in their equivalent of the primary, that same afternoon, no deals made, nothing. She went and she said, we need to support Arnold Palacios. Arnold Palacios hires her as his senior advisor, and she's working for $1 a year. And with the 10% pay cut, she's now making a 90-cent annual salary. And
Oh my God! You know, I already liked her. And you've given me another reason to admire her. And a number of the people up in the NMI that are doing things like this. You never ever hear about that when in those times where we get to have conversations about reorganizations, reductions in force, furloughs and layoffs and that kind of thing. It always feels like it's every man or woman for himself around here. Very, very interesting conversation just after 9 o'clock in the morning. Cuz I wish I had more time. We'll get caught up maybe next week. See what the regular session of the legislature brings, and by the end of the day, we'll have a pretty good idea on what's going to be happening with the pay raises.
Yeah. Let's get caught up. Is next week Holy Week, or is that the week after?
What's that?
Is next week Holy Week, or is that the week after?
You're asking the other Martinez that never goes to church. You're asking the other Torres that never goes to church.
I'm not.
Ask Shelley. Ask Shelley. Shelley knows. Shelley always knows.
Oh, yeah.
All right. See you soon. It's just after 9 o'clock in the morning. Fox News in progress.
Get your podcasts
These are the stories that keep you up at night.
from the Fox News Podcasts Network. Listen to the all-new Brett Baier podcast featuring Common Ground, talking to lawmakers weekly from opposite sides of the political spectrum about the issues of the day and how Americans can find common ground in a politicized world.
That's just not happening on Capitol Hill. It takes leadership, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Along with all your Brett Baier favorites like the campaign, the candidates, the all-star panel, and much more. Available now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
New laws banning gender affirmation care and that restrict which bathrooms transgender students can use, signed by Iowa Republican Governor Kim Reynolds, are now in effect.
Governor Reynolds signed the measures into law Wednesday, saying she met with parents of transgender kids before signing them. The laws order the end of gender affirmation care, giving doctors 6 months to stop prescribing puberty blockers and other such drugs to patients younger than 18. The other law does not allow transgender kids to use public school restrooms that align with the gender they identify with. Iowa's LGBTQ community condemns the law, joining civil rights groups and the state's teachers union. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The job market is holding up under continuing inflation and increased interest rates.
New unemployment claims remain near historically low levels. A sign employers are reluctant to cut staff. The number of new claims for unemployment benefits slipped to a 3-week low of 191,000 last week, down 1,000 from the week before. Economists were expecting an increase, though they did not predict a dramatic rise in new claims. Continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, are still low, but increased by 14,000 to 1.6 million. The gradual increase in continuing claims suggests it's taking longer for people to find a new job. Ginny Cosola, Fox News.
Autism is now being diagnosed more frequently in Black and Hispanic children than in white children in the U.S. The CDC released the new estimates. The 1 in 36 children who were age 8 in 2020 had autism. That's up from 1 in 44 2 years earlier. But the rate rose faster for children of color. Experts attribute the change to improved screening and autism services for all kids. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
The Guam Visitors Bureau presents the return of Koku Weekend, April 15 and 16 at the Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park in Tumon. Kids ages 4 to 12 can participate in Koku Weekend by registering for the Guam Koku Kids Fun Run happening on Saturday, April 15. Calling all runners for the Guam Koku Road Race 10K Walk Run event on Sunday, April 16th. Register online today at visitguam.com/Koku or contact GVB at 646-5278 for more details. Koku Weekend is a GVB signature event.
Gwyneth Zenhoffide, thank you for coming to today's annual meeting. As you all know, our island's had a very successful year, and I'd love to hear about all of the progress we've made. Who wants to go first?
Me, please.
Why don't we start with you?
Yes, thank you.
We've helped over 1,200 Guam kids and their families pay for childcare.
And that's over $5.5 million in childcare costs so far. Excellent work, as always.
Thanks, boss. Over 130 after-school and community care programs have received grant funding for programs like swimming.
And cycling. And soccer. And jiu-jitsu.
Just to name a few. It's my turn, guys. Come on. Anyways, we've also graduated 3 cohorts in our provider certification program at GCC and certified over 75 relative care providers.
That's great news, everyone.
Yes, indeed. It's been a long day. I might need a little break.
Who's ready for recess?
Recess? This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
Shoot Balloon, 7 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Ray Gibson Show, at least for another hour. No guest today, right? Just us?
I believe so.
Wow. So we haven't had that luxury of just playing right up to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. All right, let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into today. Portions of the program are brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by Subway, as in Eat Fresh, as in check out the Subway series. You know, like the Baseball World Series. All right, Subway series. We got winners everywhere. A dozen or so of these incredible sandwiches that they've put together. Some of them based on your old favorites. Some of them totally brand new. Call out by name or number on Guam or Saipan and enjoy the great Subway flavors that the Subway sandwich artists put together for you. Eat fresh at Subway.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on ThePOINT.gu.
Now, and my daughter sent me a thing. Let me know that she got Wordle in 3. So proud of my baby.
All right.
So proud of my baby. And so I said, okay, let me see what I do, right? So I went to the Wordle thing, and I put in water. Water's always my start word. And it gave me a T and an R, and I thought, crap, that's what I got yesterday. I want to say that's what I got yesterday. And anyway, I got Wordle in 4 yesterday, and I might get Wordle in 4 today. Now, there's people, I just found out from my friend Dan from over at Southern Mountain Gear. He's got people he works with. They said, I don't listen to Ray Gibson very, very much because he spoils Wordle. And I don't, it's very rare that I actually give you the Wordle word. I don't think I've done that like once or twice in the whole time, but this guy must have caught it that once or twice that I did it. I will tell you what's not the Wordle word today. Kraut. Kraut is not the word.
Is that a word?
Yeah, well, it's like, sauerkraut.
Okay.
McKrauts. Okay. It's what they refer to German. I don't know if that's a slur. I honestly don't. I'm not saying it to be, edgy Ray Gibson or anything like that. I'm too old to be edgy. But anyway, so I know it's not that. Every once in a while, I'll put in like a porny word in there just to see. You just never know.
You don't.
Sometimes you stick something like that in there, and it'll say, okay, that's not the word, but you got a couple of new letters to play with that will get you closer to the word. I'm just wondering if the people that are behind Wordle are just as skebby as I am. Actually, there's probably nobody in the world that's like that. 9 after 10. Well, I just want to see what people are talking about on the YouTube side. Lupang Guam is there. Kitsutsu in Japan saying, hi, Real Joe.
Hey, half a day.
Got a new friend, Sadra Sayal
Real
online.
Joe in Guam.
There's Patricia DP. Who else? Lupang Guam, like I said. Patricia, there's a teacher at OMS who doesn't have a classroom since closing off their infested D wing. Now he walks around to different rooms that are open to have his class. Interesting. Lupang talking about Keith Richards. Not sure why. Keith Richards is not the best guitar player technically, but he has a skeleton style where less is more. Hard to explain. The Keith Richards solo explains it all. I don't.
He sure looks like a skeleton ring.
I'm just kind of curious how you got onto that subject. There's just kind of one guy rambling into another thing, which is my favorite way of looking at the world. Jerome McDonald, I made reference to Elton John's birthday, referring to him as the Queen of Rock. And he's like, wow, Queen of Rock? Question mark? What? You know, maybe
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Welcome
Ray.
to the patriarchy. You know, and maybe I shouldn't do that because I'm of a couple of different minds. A couple of weeks ago, you remember the Hershey's people came out on, what is it, International Women's Day?
Oh, yeah.
And decided to
Hershey.
do that thing with the tranny. And upset a lot of people, triggered a bunch of folks, certainly conservatives, triggered a bunch of people in the chocolate industry that said, "Oh, so you're going to do that? Then I'm going to come out with my own kind of chocolate." And the Razor guy did. He actually came up with that. I'm a little bit, you know, I don't know, to the degree that I get into these kinds of things, you know, just go, well, I guess there's another brand that doesn't want my money, that doesn't want my business. I mean, it's not that I'm against trannies; it's just that I'm for women and thinking that something as important as International Women's Day, we ought to have a actual woman that is going out there and saying thank you very much for recognizing all the things that women do. You know, birthing babies as an example. As an example, and we get into the conversation about different colors of the different flags that we've got playing around here. And frankly, I don't care about that. What I was trying to get to was I'm just not going to buy any Hershey's chocolate anymore. You know, it's they don't, you know, they care to put their politics and their virtue signaling in my face, and I don't have to put up with that as a consumer. But it's tough because Hershey is, you know, arguably one of the bigger chocolates on the planet.
So what other options do we have, man?
Meiji chocolates out of Japan.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Very rich.
I want to say Cadbury.
Oh,
near as
my
I can
God.
tell. I'm not going to
Just
research.
got diabetes right now.
I know. But some people say, dude, they're just as woke. Yeah, okay, but they didn't throw this in my face. So maybe I'm going to give them a little bit of love. Maybe the and so I looked on the internet. Lupank says I was talking about my favorite musician, so they chimed in. I looked on the internet. I did a Google, which said, what are non-Hershey Easter candy? Simple request, right, from Google. And you would think that as smart as the computers are supposed to be, it would send me to, you know, Cadbury or Meiji, or I'm sure I'm missing a couple of your favorite chocolate brands. And by all means, go ahead and write them up on the thing. And it immediately sent me. The first thing I got of 27 million results is Hersheyland. Shop.hersheys.com.
They pay the most to Google, Ray.
Gotta be. Oh, my God. Really, and I'm, you know, going for the images, and it's given me images of there it is, Hershey eggs and Hershey this and Hershey that, and I'm going, what are they? I'm sorry, you missed the instructions here that I was trying to go for. We got the Reese's and all of these other things that we're going to glorify for the Easter weekend, right? What? Who?
I'm sorry, it's Mayor Alec, man. He's the best. He makes me light up whenever he calls,
I'm
man.
glad. And hopefully the phone works this time. So I thought, you know what? Here's my problem. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's Google has got this thing, you know, with you're woke, we're woke, and so let's.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
they're in bed with Hershey's, man.
We'll wokey together. So I said, here's what I'll go to Bing. I'll go to Bing, right? Microsoft search engine Bing. And I said, Easter candy not made by Hershey. I was trying to be more direct with Bing because it's supposed to be smarter. Easter candy not made by Hershey. First thing it gives me, shop.hersheys.com/Easter. And I'm
They
going,
heard you.
Wow.
Now you're getting 1,000 ads for buying Hershey's chocolate, Ray, all day.
You know,
on your social media, everywhere.
So some of you are going to say, all right, this is Ray doing the opposite of virtue signaling. I haven't seen you at Easter Mass in a long time, Ray. To which I will say, yeah, busted. Sorry, you caught me in a compromised position. Ain't gonna be the first time. Ain't gonna be the last time. I am entitled to my own hypocrisy. 9:15 in the morning, and you said Mayor Alec's on the line?
I said Mayor, the Pika Mayor.
Pika's best mayor, Mayor Jess Alec on the line. Now he's going to say, what now, Gibson? We talked yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm calling from a landline, so I can hear you and you can hear me.
Perfect. All right. So
hey, Ray.
Hey.
So, I mean,
hey.
Yeah, hey, Ray. So, you know, as Catholics who When is the church most filled?
Wow.
What do you think?
After typhoon.
Ash Wednesday.
Ah.
Right? You were just talking about that, and I thought, nah, we had a little discussion about that. And the church, they used to say the seasonal Catholics come Christmas and Easter, but I don't think so. I think everyone comes on Ash Wednesday.
Wow. Do they keep track of that kind of thing? I mean,
I don't keep track of it, but you find the earliest mass because no one wants to wake up early.
Yes, absolutely. They need to put instead of alphabetical order when they put out the listings of the archdiocese on when the masses are, their aviso. I think they need to come out and say by order of times. Here's the early mass, and here's the mass my granddaddy used to refer to as the Alka-Seltzer mass. Sorry, not even going to be able to make the 11:30. I just. It was too good Saturday night. 9:17. Mayor Alec on the line, and after mass on Sunday is going to be, and I want to make a big deal about this because it's going to be one of the last events for Mess tomorrow, and unique to your village.
Right.
Is the Chamorro Family Feud.
That's correct. So initially, we were only surveying 50 people because we didn't know how many people would want to take our survey, but we surveyed 100 people on Guam for our Chamorro Family Feud. So it's going to be this Sunday at 6 o'clock at our basketball court. We're excited to have it. We have our PD families registered, and of course there'll be there's a process, right, of elimination, and they'll challenge our celebrity team. Yeah. And so I think our celebrity team, I like our team. I mean, it was a team that was developed by our council, Municipal Planning Council, and it's a good mix of people who we think could be fun and who know a little about being Chamorro.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Polly Eric is in there, who knows a chapter and verse, the history going back to Magellan. Ruby.
Yes, that's right.
Ruby Santos. I'm sorry, I'll use the perfecto tomorrow here. Ruby Acanino Santos. Senator Chris Barnett, Tony Lamarena, and as I said, who else have we got? Oh, Frank the Crank. Frank the Crank Camacho. I got. Hold on a second. I got a picture of a guy who looks just like Frank the Crank in my gallery here that I saw the other day, and I said, man, I got to put this up on the screen. Everybody's got to see the same thing that I'm looking at. So, what time does everything get started there?
We get started at 6 o'clock, and we're hoping that by, well, it depends on how much fun we're going to have. But yeah, we'll start at 6 o'clock. We'll start at 6 o'clock.
So we're gonna do, but it's like the TV show, right? So
like the TV show.
Yeah. So you bring up you now know who the team is going to be, the celebrity team, and then so you're going to bring up other teams to play against them, or just another team?
No. So what it'll be is there'll be an elimination round first with the PD families first. So the PD families will challenge each other first. Right, and then one PD family is going to win and challenge the celebrity team.
You must have a deep pool of questions.
Yeah, we do, and it's quite interesting.
Well, how much fun was that to write? Oh my God!
It was a lot of fun. The answers are hilarious. It's crazy.
Well, now I'm just going to throw out a couple of just answers to and I think they could apply in many of the questions that will be asked. So potential answers, if I was going to be on the challenge panel, would be red rice, my mother, and the South. Is that the answer to any of the questions that you're going to be asking?
Red rice, definitely, and my mother, definitely, yeah.
The joke is that was the correct answer for every Miss Universe pageant ever held on Guam. Any pageant held on Guam, they have that extemporaneous thing. It's always like, if you had some family and friends come in from off island, where would you take them? The South.
Oh yeah.
Who's the most influential person in your life? My mother. You're in the States and they ask you to cook something from Guam. What are you going to cook for? Red rice. Yeah. So that's always that is enough to get you crowned Miss Universe, or the what is it? What's the other one? Miss Pacificana. Yeah, I think you can win that one as well. 9:21 in the morning. Listen, I know you got a big weekend in front of you, and getting ready to finish mess tomorrow, and then make preparations now for the Easter festivities down in PD.
Easter's going to be fun. Easter's going to be a little different. You know, the price of eggs. Great. So, we're going to use something cheaper. You got to check it out. If you're from PD, you're going to love it.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Might want to swing by. What time's everything happening for that? Do you know? Is that all set in stone yet?
I don't want to tell you that because
okay.
then everyone's going to want to come here.
Well, I don't know. You remember the time? It wasn't PD. Well, yeah, I guess it was. Was it? No, Camp Assen. They had a Easter egg hunt at Camp Assen. I want to say McDonald's or somebody was out there.
Right.
Chris Barnett and somebody dressed in an Easter bunny costume. And,
and he started too early. Son of a gun. Oh.
I'm sure the good senator would prefer if I'd forgotten all of those kinds of things. But what the heck? What the hell? Listen, as I said, I know how busy you are this weekend, so I'm going to let you run. It's always fun talking with you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Have a good one.
I will. You hear stuff like that coming out of PD, and I just want to go, Alpha Paco? Where's ours? Hey, come on. But Paco's busy. He's chasing down. I'm serious now. He's chasing down on Raymond Sanchez, which I happen to use probably once, twice a day. In Totu, there has been some GWA work on that, and they went in and dug 2 holes about 50 feet away from each other last week, and I don't know when they're coming back. They kind of filled it in with some rocks, and somebody put a witch's hat on it, a cone, to keep cars from running over it, and somebody ran over it, and now the witch's hat is actually in the hole. So not necessarily doing its job. And so I'm like, hey, Paco, you call the guys over at GPA or GTA or GWA and you tell them to come back in there and fix it. And he says, yeah. Work in progress. All right. That's good because I haven't seen anybody there all week. And you know how it is. There'll be another work in progress somewhere else, like I don't know, Marine Corps Drive, and I'm going to get stuck driving on that. But otherwise, I'm lucky. Paco's a good friend, and he's a great mayor in the village, and he's one of those guys. He's a go-to, get it done kind of guy. 9:23. On the program, there's a whole bunch on the table of contents, some of which I've gotten to and some of which I haven't here this morning. Let me just glance at it now. Now's usually the time where I start going, well, I put all this work in prepping for the program. It'd be sad if I didn't get into any of that conversation. At number 1 on the table of contents is the story from today's Guam Daily Post right here up here in front. 2 years now to reliable trash truck fleet. And I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be that guy, but I got to be that guy. And it's not like I'm squaring off against the guy that's running it or the board. It's just that I don't know. The circumstances are all conspiring now. COVID-19, lack of money coming in from the commercial side to help keep things going. I'm sure you've lost your share of customers and just unable to pay the monthly to take care of the trash, and now maybe they're just doing the $8 or so or whatever to drop it off at the transfer stations. I get it. I understand. In the meantime, you still got to keep the fleets out there. You still got to keep the people employed. You still, and I'm sure that they're going to be getting a raise like everybody else. They deserve it. I'll tell you what. The guys on the ground at GSWA deserve every penny of it. My name is Ray. I get to work at 4, 5. I wake up at 4. I get to work at 5. And from time to time, before Joey started doing it for me, I'd go by the gas station and grab my newspapers and, a cup of coffee or whatever. And every day, and I'm sure it happens on the weekends as well, is a bunch of guys from GSWA taking care of the fleet cars and making sure all the paperwork is taken care of. And it's not a quick job, right? And I see them out there doing that all the time. At 4:30 in the morning, as opposed to, gee, we could have gotten this done later. My point is that they're out there in the dark picking up things that you would not drive around with in the back of your company car, but they are. And so, I can see these guys getting 22%. I think they deserve it. I don't know if we're going to get the money for it. But the point is that the operations have suffered as a result of the idiotic response to the pandemic and closing down businesses that were paying into the commercial side of the GSWA. So we're deferring maintenance on the machines, trying to keep them going as much as possible. They said, we've got 8 trucks. There's 8 trucks now that are serving the entire island of Guam. Of those 8 trucks, 5 of them are operational, in operations at the whole time. The other 3, as it says here, are not 100% reliable. So we're not using those.
MacGyvered. Those are
Well,
the
they've
MacGyvered
got a
ones.
bunch of others. They said, yeah, which is what they're doing. I'm sure they're cannibalizing from one to the other. And we talked about this with Mark Cruz the other day, and the answer is, yeah, you can order a truck now, and maybe it'll be here a year from now, maybe a year and a half. Apparently it's like delivering babies. There's a long gestation period, and we'd be coming in at the back of the line of all of these other municipalities that I'm sure are suffering similar issues. Trying to maintain their fleet. And what did he say? I said, well, buy some used ones like we did with the crane over at the port years ago. He says, yeah, those things, that's a premium item now, even if it's used. There's still a lot of places that they're more than happy to get it. And in the States, you just call a guy and put it on a flatbed. We'll drive it somewhere for you. Or we'll just drive it if we're close enough. Not here. We have to find a way, put it on an APL boat, and then ship it to the port of Guam, and then all of the rest of the stuff that has to happen. And then they had the one that got in an accident last week. The boss, Slike, says, luckily nobody was injured, but some trucks sustained damage and had to be repaired. Actually, I think we terminated one driver because it was a pretty egregious result, which is interesting. I had not heard that. A termination in the government of Guam? A termination in the government of Guam? Have they called the Civil Service Commission? Is that name going to show up, so-and-so versus GSWA? Why? Because I was at fault and caused a big accident and ruined one of my rigs. And can you imagine? They fired me for that. Wow, imagine that. So the idea now is we might have to, the same way that there's load shedding when we don't have enough supply of electricity to meet the demand, when we don't have enough vehicle bandwidth to meet the demands of trash hauling in the GSWA, then we might have to do every other week pickups. And like I said, I'm okay with that. All right, I'm dandy. I probably in 2 or 3 weeks might do a couple of bags of trash. And I'll tell you why. Number one, I don't generate that much trash, mostly fast food things, and whatever I can burn usually gets burned in the backyard where I might have a tree stump or two. Don't tell the fire department. Yeah. Anyway, so for me, that's all right. I'd be okay. And I've got the recycling thing that, frankly, I've never used because the only thing that I honestly think I have to recycle that I don't burn is beer cans, and that I put in bags and take over to the elementary school. What's the name of it? San Miguel. Oh yeah, I take it over to San Miguel Elementary because it reminds me of San Mig beer. Yeah. Yes, so that's my thing. So I don't have that much of a GSWA footprint. I can handle it. I still don't want them to go, all right, since you don't generate that much trash, we're only going to pick up your trash every couple of weeks. Oh, and then the other thing, real Joe. Always forget to put it out on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yep. Wednesday's my day. I always forget to put the trash thing out there
and
on
you
Wednesday.
Remember when you get to work?
Yep.
Not hump day.
Okay, yeah, it is. And so half the time they don't pick it up anyway. But that's on me, as I say. It's me. I don't want them making that decision. If you're going to tell me that you're only picking up my trash every other day, then I'd like to pay you half for the month. And they're going to come around. They'll find a way to MacGyver their way through, as Uncle Robert refers to it, a fuzzy answer to why they can or can't do something. I would say, but we're still providing the service. We're still picking it up. But what if I was one of those guys, had 18 people in the house and roommates, and we were generating a lot of trash? And so it's going to pile up like the streets of Paris over the course of a couple of weeks. There might be some people that say, well, it's just not enough of a good deal, and then leave the family again. And my points here, and I hate to say it like I'm a hater, but GSWA seems to be continuing their slide to the bad old days, the pre-receiver days. It seems to be moving in that direction. And even though there is expertise on the scene, even though there's some smart minds on the board, I just don't see it turning around anytime soon. And then you've got the governor who is calling for universal service. You remember that? Haven't heard that in a while, have we?
Free?
No such thing as free.
What?
No, they're gonna take that out of the height of another kind of taxpayer. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but maybe adding another % to the business privilege tax so that every purchase that you make can fund throwing stuff away that you're bringing into your house. You hate that idea. But it just seems to be heading into that direction. And then we throw on the idea of universal collections. How many vehicles are we going to need to maintain now? Because they don't cover everybody in the ball game. They don't cover every household on Guam. What happens when they do? How are they going to? How many vehicles do we need to get that done? And when are we going to start making the purchase orders and getting those signed? I'm here to tell you, you can start today. Probably won't get all of the vehicles you need before the end of the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration and the beginning of the Tenorio Rodriguez administration. Did I say that out loud?
I heard it.
Well, that's because you told me.
I said what I said.
I know. You told me though. That's the thing. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good guesstimate of what it could be moving down the road. But what with the lack of stars, I'll say this: lack of stars in the Democratic Party that are compatible with the Democratic Party of Lou. Is he going to say, wait? Oh, wait, Chris Barnett and Therese Terlai could run as Democrats. For the governor, lieutenant governor after Lou and Josh. What's wrong with that, Ray? And the answer to that is because it's not the Democratic Party of Lou, and it's not the Democratic Party of used to be Lou and now Josh, and that's why. So they're going to do everything they can over at Adelup to see if we can derail that conversation of Dorrell and Therese over in the governor and lieutenant governor's office. I'm saying it because I know it triggers people over at the Democratic Party of Lou and Adelup. And I'm also saying it because the Republicans need to get their asses in gear and find some stars that can take these guys on. You know, the best thing to happen to the Republican Party in the last election, Mike and Bree.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best thing to happen to the Republicans in the last election. And it brought statesman Felix Camacho out to run with Tony Ada. And maybe there's still some room on a ticket for Tony Ada down the road. But who else? Who's the pretty new Republican? You know what we need? We need the equivalent of Doris Flores Brooks. Huh? Yeah, that's what we need. Or somebody that's got the gravitas of a Joe Ada. You know, might identify as a Republican, but literally an everyman who in the Republican Party of Guam can meet that criteria. That just everybody just goes, yeah, I have to vote for him. I just like him too much. I like him more than the other guys. Anyway, 9:34, Dr. Ron McNinch making his second pass at the show right after these.
Every company needs money to grow and take on the challenges 2023 will bring.
That's why Bank Pacific's commercial loan officers stand ready to help you.
We offer several programs tailored to assist companies to get to the next step or perhaps for a startup,
including working with SBA or GITA.
Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches.
Bank Pacific.
We want to be your partner.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC.
Credit conditions apply.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
And you thought you knew everything there is about bottom fish and bottom fishing. Come to the Fisheries Forum to learn about bottom fish in the Marianas. Thursday, March 30th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Guam Museum. Enjoy info tables, presentations, demos, and more. The forum is part of the Western Pacific Fisheries Management Council's 194th meeting, March 30th and 31st at the Guam Hilton Resort. Call 483-1904 or visit wpcouncil.org for more info. Bring the family. It's free.
NissanGuam.com and the World Wide Web. Told you about the Frontier season that is on right now, and encouraging you get in the car and go for a test drive. You're going to love it. And when you're done with the test drive, make sure they got a way to get a hold of you, because you could win $1,000. While I'm thinking about it now, Post Canteen, VFW, you could win over $1,200 tonight at 7 o'clock at the VFW in Gigo. They've also got a drawing. But if you still want a grand or maybe a grill or a canopy or whatever, swing by Nissan Guam and go for a test drive in the all-new for 2023 Nissan Frontiers. You're going to love the ride. You're going to love the technology. You're going to love all the features on the inside, the power under the hood, and just, wow, what a cool car. And when you buy it, no down payment. First 3 payments are on them. Plus, the case of Spam, and on top of that, 25 pounds bag of rice. Check it today over at NissanGuam.com. Wow, 22 away from the top of the hour. The week is just about over. Hopefully you got some big plans for the weekend. In my head, this is the way it's going to work. Is Saturday, wake up, go run the McDonald's 5K for the Crime Stoppers tomorrow, maybe goofing off elsewhere for the rest of the day. And on Sunday, go and redo the Cocoa Road Race route so I can be prepared for that 10K in about 3 weeks from now. That's my plan. And then the invitation from Jeff from over at Pirates Cove to go and hang out with Dave. No, what's his name? He'll come to me in a second. Hold on. While I'm introducing Dr. Ron McNinch. That's why I can't say his name, because the word doctor is in my head and won't get out of the way. Anyway, so talking about, there it is, Don Farrell, historian, and generally great guy, is going to be at Pirates Cove on Sunday doing autograph signing for his Liberation book. EWO vets are going to be there as well. So if you're looking for someplace on Sunday, late afternoon, maybe early evening for a cold beer, chips and fries or whatever, that's where I think you ought to be going. 9:38. Good morning, Dr. McNinch.
Half a day, Cousin Ray. Absolutely. It's been a while, and it was very nice talking to you earlier.
Yes.
By
yes,
the way,
yes.
yeah.
No, you were gonna say?
The Air Force guy who got the Medal of Honor, the 5th Medal of Honor winner, his name was Red Irwin, and he got it for hand-carrying a burning flare to throw out a window of an airplane that had misfired.
Oh, my God.
Severely injured. And, really a lot of neat stories on Guam related to just heroism and valor that happened here, around the liberation of Guam. Don Farrell's the real deal. I've talked to him several times.
Oh, my God.
Just an encyclopedia of knowledge. One of my favorite people to talk to Don Farrell about is Guy Gabaldon, who was a young Marine in Saipan who walked out personally over 1,400 civilians. He'd walk across the battle lines where the battle was going on, and he would hand walk the civilians across to safety. It was just an incredible story.
It's a whole different generation of people. You get people now, they couldn't function without the internet, and the whole kind of, was there lattes? Did they have almond milk during the war? Oh my God, savages! I got this from Dave Sablon. We were talking earlier about Marine Colonel Lewis Wilson, who Dave says earned the Medal of Honor in Guam for bravery. He pinned the first star on Brigadier General Ben Bloss with his wife, Ann. Wilson really liked Ben Bloss and was proud to welcome Ben Bloss to the general ranks and pinned the Brigadier General star on him when he was the commandant of the Marine Corps. So connections between Medal of Honor winners and some of the guys that came behind him, who went on to distinguished careers of their own.
Yeah, just, we had such incredible connections for Guam following World War II in the U.S. Congress and in the U.S. military. We had a very, in fact, endearing connection even today for many legacy family members of people who served on Guam. And everywhere you go in the U.S. mainland, you mentioned you're from Guam. It's like, well, my father served there, my grandfather served there. We just have an incredible connection, absolutely an absolute connection to the United States and to people all over the United States.
And I think that's permanent. Hey, did you read my Uncle Robert's editorial in the newspaper today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always have a different take on things, and I like Robert. He always has fun things to say. But one key thing, and I want to go back to, I don't want to say I told you so to everybody, but our government started this with the military over explosive ordnance disposal. We did all this crazy stuff with explosive ordnance disposal. The military asked, please reconsider it. Nobody listened to them. And so then they had to start more openly advocating for things where they would normally not have to do that, because normally a quiet meeting between leaders would say, folks, this ain't such a great idea. And then people would listen to the military. On that occasion, nobody listened to the military.
I was with them on that. I mean, I know what the mission is. I know the people that conduct that mission, and I can only imagine what a wonderful thing it is for someplace that has been war-torn, ravaged by all of the bombings, and with the understanding that there are still places on Guam where there are significant finds of significant bombs that were dropped that never went off. I mean, it still happens. There was a guy, I got a picture in my phone of a guy that was clearing some land out in Mongmong or somewhere, maybe up in Bagania, I don't know, somewhere in central Guam, and came across an undetonated weapon, and the ordnance, as they like to say, and we don't call you call the police, you call the fire department, they call the EOD. So I appreciate this free service that they continue to do for the people of Guam. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I just think it's just insane in my head about the way that all the negotiations have been going on for so long, and with such secrecy, right up to today, where even members of the 37th Guam legislature have not been taken behind the curtain to see what's in that dang deal.
Yeah, but my point is that's where the bad blood seemed to have started. When we ended up having, before we always had very good, positive, go-to communications, and there was never any miscommunications. There was never any negativisms that we really, had to face, and then we end up having that major, they had to backtrack on everything once they found out what that law actually meant.
Well, my uncle makes a point here in this, and it's further to another part, where a few years ago, Eddie Calvo was the governor, gets a note from the secretary or assistant secretary, undersecretary of the Navy, who says, look, this is what we're going to do, net negative, we're going to leave when the military buildup is done. There will actually be less of a military footprint on Guam than we've got now. We got, what do we get back there? The Haputo, what's the name of that valley up north that we got back? And everybody's very, very happy about that. Might be a few other properties that have gotten back into government or private hands one way or the other. But when he said that there would be no more excess lands, any other net negative understandings have been overtaken by the need for a missile defense system. Uncle Robert writes, a double cross on a net negative does not yield a net positive. Because, he's a wordsmith that way, my uncle. But I just think it's kind of interesting now that my activist uncle is on the same page as Lee Weber.
Well, I mean, and again, I don't mean this in a pejorative sense, but I don't really see Congressman Underwood really being all that positive about the military ever. I mean, am I wrong or what?
Oh, no. You're not wrong. I just think, well, I don't know. How do you want to say this? It depends. It depends. I think generally when he was a congressman on what the needs of the people were and ways that the military might be able to be used. I mean, when you're a congressman on the House Armed Services Committee, I think you take a different view, and I think some of that might have followed him back here to the point where, look, we're going to have to be good neighbors and work together. It's not necessarily working together, though, when you say, all right, surprise, here's this lease we've been working on for a couple of years that nobody knows about except me and a handful of people over at the governor's office. And by the way, you have 30 days to sign it. Otherwise, we're pulling the deal out from under you. And everybody's going, whoa, time out. First of all, why the deadlines here, guys?
But we don't know. I'm not playing any sides here. I really don't care, to be blunt. But if I'm
okay, I'll care. Can I tell you why I care? I don't think it's a wise investment for us to spend $1 billion building a hospital complex in Manila. We've got a perfectly good piece of property that has held a hospital on it in past, which is right down the street from here and literally steps away from much of the infrastructure that a modern hospital needs. Everything is already there. Why are we going to reinvent the wheel out in Manila? And that has not been answered to my satisfaction. So that's why I'm against this idea.
Well, so my question then would be, is that the military's fault or is it somebody else's fault?
Oh, it's certainly somebody else's fault, number one. But number two, the military ought not to be in the middle of this conversation between the taxpayers and the residents of Guam and our elected representatives. I agree with Dave Lotz on this. There might be some that disagree, but his should have said, listen, there's a domestic. You guys deal with the domestic. We're not going anywhere. We're the Navy. And we were going to build a missile defensive system there. We already know where you want to put the hospital, so we can build we'll build it there, and then you can build around us. I mean, there's solutions to all of this. I think the gun to the head deadline deal, in my mind, cements the idea that this is a non-starter for the taxpayers. This is such a good deal. You have to take it now.
Well, for me, this is nothing new. This is simply old wine in new bottles. Back in 1975, the federal government wanted to give Guam a commonwealth. Our own local leaders didn't communicate that to the people or effectively. I mean, it's our own government doing it to ourselves. That's my view on this.
Yeah, as it always has been. There's a nice write-up in today's newspaper. I intend to read the rest of it, remembering David Lujan Sablan. And there's a picture of him with Angel Santos, young Angel Santos. Of course, he died young, but a very young Angel Santos, the two of them together talking about stuff over at the Governor's Complex in 1991. I think that was around the time where they had the camp out back in those days. At any rate, Angel was among those. I remember later, prior to him dying by a few months, we had the opportunity, of all places, Linda's playing pool late at night one night, and I'd asked him, I said, what do you think your successes are? And he named it. I said, what's your biggest disappointment? And my biggest disappointment is the number one, the people expect me to do the heavy lifting all the time. I've shown them how to do it, but they keep calling me to get it done, number one. Number two is that the biggest enemies aren't in Washington, D.C., the Pentagon, or anywhere. They're right here.
Angel was my neighbor. He lived in my condo complex. I liked Angel. Some people can say anything they want about Angel in the negative, but his heart was really with people. And every time you'd talk to him, he's quiet natured. I think you know this. You know probably much better than I did. And I talked to him many times. He was quiet natured, and he always had insights. If people just listen to him, I think that's one of the interesting parts about Angel Santos is he's not this. Really, he's not the person some people want to portray him as. He actually had some really neat approaches to things, and he was pretty pragmatic.
I think he'd be amused by the hero worship that people give him today. Right. And having said that, 9:49. Listen, I got to let you run. I'll talk to you.
Hey, sounds great.
All right. Have a fantastic weekend. Dr. Ron McNinch on the line. We'll get Dr. Jack on here in just a second. But I wanted once again because I don't think that I've gotten enough play out of this. And thank you very much, Jose Martinez, for finding this little gem. I don't know where he got it from. I'm assuming that he found it on the legislative website, legislative YouTube channel, and said, this is too good not to share. A little bit of back and forth between one of the older senators, more mature senators, and one of the new guys.
What we did was she took a percentage of the 2020 and applied it to the 21 to come up with a reasonable number. And that's how we,
I know my
Mr.
time's
Burns
up.
is correct.
So would you say these are reasonable numbers?
Point of order, Madam Chair. Time is up.
Excuse me?
Yes, Senator
I
Brown.
understand. I'm just wrapping up. I just want to verify, if you don't mind.
No, back
I
it up.
don't think we all have to raise our voice and
I want it to go backwards. I want to hear her say, excuse me.
You like it a lot. Percentage of the 2020 and applied it to the 21 to come up with a reasonable number. And that's how we,
I know my
Mr.
time's
Burns
up.
is correct.
So would you say these are reasonable numbers?
Point of order, Madam Chair. Time is up.
Excuse me?
Yes, Senator Bryan.
I understand. I'm just wrapping up. I just want to verify, if you don't mind. I don't think we all have to raise our voice and interject and be rude. I just wanted to verify, if you don't mind.
Point of order, Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Guerrero, I just wanted to verify that you
Guerrero.
stand by the information that you provided.
Yes, I do, Senator.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Guerrero. Thank you.
Point of inquiry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Does the time matter, or can we just go over it arbitrarily?
Yes, we allow some.
I'm sorry. The rest of it is Amanda, trying to appease everybody. But in my mind, it's the line from Will Parkinson. Does the time matter? It's almost philosophical, isn't it? Does the time matter, Jack? Does the time matter?
Squirrel. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Well, listen. Yeah, it's all fodder right now. But I just wanted to harp back. Nice to hear the good old McNish in the foxhole with me. But the question that you need to ask: would you give him a gun and help him fight, or would you tie him up in the corner and just let him behave while you do the fighting yourself? Senator.
Be nice.
Angel Santos was a great man, but as he would have known, as all activists know, once they get into politics, the activism is dead. And we found that out when he said that he would never sell Chamorro Land Trust or give up Chamorro Land Trust, and he did. He gave up Chamorro Land Trust to his colleague, Judy Gussertz, for what? Beautification purposes in her property in Manila. So, at least he was truthful about it, and, in the end, he had to keep the activism in the back pocket there and try to get legislation passed, because if he didn't do that, he would have never gotten anything through. And so, there's a big difference between activism and becoming a member of politics in the legislature.
I'm wondering out loud now. I mean, a lot has been said about Chris Martin, and I'm not saying this to challenge anybody or anything. It just right now the guy's he's running around like a bull in a china shop over at the legislature. I dare say that he's wielding as much power and influence over the legislature as the speaker does, maybe even more. And I think he's got a little bit of an activist bend in him as well. But I'm asking is are there lines in the sand that he won't cross, or lines in the sand that he would if there was the right political result?
He's not an activist. Number one, he's just the same old mold that we bring up here. Okay, it's the same old bloviating. Now he uses Chat GPT to do his press releases and his statements. I mean, let's get honest with things right here. Has anything passed? Nothing has passed. They're doing things from the compromise position.
Well, they've sent 5 bills to the governor. 2 of them are bills that would reapply the power of the third branch of co-equal branch of government. The governor has vetoed them, and I believe that they are ripe for a challenge and an override, but they can't procedurally do it right now. There are 3 other measures that he was able to get unanimous support on, 4 measures that would go to the governor's office that would provide answers to the issues that are at the Department of Education. They just got there, so give a little benefit of the doubt, bro.
Hey, that's my point. We went from holding round tables that meant nothing, and now we're into ink and paper. So let's get through this thing, but let's don't put him up to sainthood yet.
Well, again, I don't think I did. I'm just saying he's wielding a lot of power and influence over this 37th Guam legislature. I don't know to what degree they were able to craft the breakaway republic that is him and Therese and Sabine, as well as the other members of the minority. All of a sudden, they've got a little bit more power. They're actually in co-chairing committees, and I don't know that would have happened if he wasn't there.
Well, I think that what happens now, the dice has been cast, and as I mentioned before, the governor had the information on this on the Eagles land field. The governor had the information and everything. It's not the military's fault. And I told you like this before. Yes, on paper we have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. But if in practice all you have is a dictatorship, if you're a military command, how are you supposed to deal with that? You deal with it like you did in Afghanistan. You go to the leader that's pulling all the triggers, and you tell him to stop, and this is what we have for you. We have money and contracts. How you deal with that contracts, who you give it to, that's on your prerogative. And it's not the commander's fault that the legislature acquiesced to their powers during a fake pandemic. Like I tell you, man, when crisis happens, who steps up to the plate? And that's how we need to judge it. We can't just sweep things under the rug and say, look how brave he is. But this is the problem that we're having, and it's a great downfall for us, because now we're back to square one. Let's just be honest with the fact. Let's just be honest with the fact that we are who we are, with me. And we need to do things better. One way is to revamp the local GOP. The last election, a lot of the great young faces that were coming up, it was sad to see them go the way they went without support of the GOP here. And I remember when one of the candidates called into your show and said, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I put all my efforts into this. I have nothing left." To see that come out of a GOPer, you ever hear that come out of a Democrat? No. But to see that come out of a person that's, boots on the ground, had no support from her own party, to call in the radio station at that time and say things like that, our local GOP has to be revamped. We need a Tea Party here. We need people who are true conservatives, who understand tradition.
Yeah, well, they made it difficult for some of those people to want to take part in the system. I got to break away. You're making my frowny face Friday, or my Friday frowny. I got to I'll talk to you later. 888-8255. I'm going to leave you with this because I think it's important. We were hoping to hear from Michelle Pierre over the last couple of days, but she's busy putting together. She's our favorite girl artist on the program, my female art correspondent, and she's getting together with some of the other girls out this weekend. It's Femme Friday. Babes Can Build It. It's a build yourself and build each other thing happening at the Fuck Eye Shop down in Tumon on Fujita Road. This is taking place at 6 o'clock tonight. That big bus?
Oh, yeah.
A girl built that. She did the inside of that.
They will come.
Exactly, and that's what's going to be happening, creating clarity with Creative Indeed. Rebuild yourself, or build yourself and build each other again. That's going to be tomorrow at the Fuck Eye Shop in Tumon on Fujita Road from 6 until 9. So you got a couple of great events. All the girls, and I'll just tell you this right now, most of them are married. Most of Michelle's friends are married. FYI. But number one, they're still fun to look at, and number two, they have single friends. So if you're looking for an opportunity, and don't just go in there and just say, I'm always a feminist supporter or whatever. I mean, just go and just do what it is. I just want to hang out, see what you guys are up to, and maybe exchange WhatsApps, whatever. There's the little QR code. Remind me when I get, because I don't have time to talk about this now. Unfortunately, there's a story, and I learned about it this morning. They set aside, when Beethoven died, some of his hair. They set aside some of Beethoven's hair. We've all seen the pictures of Beethoven, that crazy-looking
from
hair.
His head. Okay,
yeah, that was from his head, Real Joe, because he had left very specific instructions on what to do with those hairs, so that doctors might be able to find out what it was that caused his deafness, issues that he had with chronic drinking, cirrhosis of the liver, and all of those kinds of things. But he wanted to leave something behind so that others in the future did not suffer the same fate. And modern science has gotten hold of it. And is beginning to put together some analysis of the late, great Ludwig von Beethoven from locks of hair that had been set aside, just artifacts, if you will, of what a terrific guy. 9:59 and change. We're KUSG again. You for Real Joe, Jerry, and Donna D. My name is Ray Gibson saying have a great weekend. Back with you Monday.
93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
Jury considering whether to indict former President Trump over reported hush money payments made to porn star Stormy Daniels on his behalf will not meet again until next week, as Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg fires back at House Republicans.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg penned a letter addressed to House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan and others, saying former President Trump's false expectation of an arrest this week